Check, 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 check.
And welcome to Media Day 2023 for the Phoenix Suns. We are here for the next 2 hours, so it's all about stamina and pacing yourself. Tom Leander, along with the voice of the Suns, Kevin Ray, will be joined by Tom Chambers in just a bit. So, I mean, you're a talk radio kind of a guy. 2 hours, man, but it's going to be great. We're going to be hearing from everybody, including Suns Governor Matt Ishbia in just a matter of moments. But a lot happening, obviously, during the offseason, in particular the last few days with the DeAndre Ayton trade to Portland.
Well, yeah, 2 hours, and when you consider everything that's happened, all the new faces that have been brought in, I mean, we could easily go 4 hours.
Exactly. Two is not enough.
No, 2 is not enough, but I think we will make do with 2. But, you know, fans have got to be super excited, incredibly energized by everything that's transpired over the last 90, 120 days.
Yeah, I know you go back to Chris Paul being dealt to Washington. Now he's in Golden State. New head coach Frank Vogel. So, I mean, and we'll talk to Frank as well, too. I mean, he's scheming, thinking about his defense being led by a DeAndre Ayton, and now it's a Yusuf Nurkic coming in. So he's had to change his schemes, his strategies, getting ready for training camp.
Yeah, getting things put together kind of on the fly, but I think it's a situation where on the fly when you're not in games is a heck of a lot easier, and you can do those things. And look, Frank's been around the game long enough, and he had to deal with kind of working on the fly a little bit. His 2 previous stops being without players for extended periods. I think it's, one of the reasons why the Suns, went out and made the change, brought in a guy like Frank Vogel. He's got that championship experience, so we'll see.
And now he gets to work as well with Bradley Beal. I mean, you talk about the big 3, and that's going to be obviously the number one question for all the players and coaches here. How is that going to work? And after talking to current players, former players, I mean, it's all going to revolve around one thing, health. I mean, if these guys are healthy throughout the course of the season, and you brought it up too, they're going to have training camp. So we saw KD come in mid-season and then had to take a couple of weeks off and then another couple of weeks off. So the fact that they're going to be able to go through a full training camp together is critical.
Yeah, and when you're talking about those 3 players, in particular, it's a situation as I think we're going to get ready to center the podium because we have the Suns Governor, Matt Ishbia.
Thank you, Stacey, for the nice introduction. Excited for the season. So first off, thanks for coming. I know you guys got a lot of other things you can be doing. We appreciate having you guys here for the kickoff of our season. We're really excited here. I'll give a couple quick comments, but I really like just to answer questions. I know that's what you guys want to ask about certain things and give my perspective on it. But first off, it's been a great start to my stewardship of the team as coming in February. The whole city of Phoenix has been amazing. The great team of not just players, team members, and everyone at this company has been great. It's been a great experience for me. And then this summer has really been a transformational summer, not just on the basketball side, which I know we'll spend some time on, but, when I did my press conference, really standing on this stage, we talked about, we're all about team member experience, which you'll hear about some of those stuff. You'll hear more stuff soon. but team member experience for our people, the culture. We talked about fan experience. That's so important. What we're going to do, that community, what we're going to do in the community, and then, of course, winning. And so everything we've done, from me all the way through as the leader of the organization, is about those 4 things. If it's not one of those 4 things, we don't spend much time on it because we're focused on those 4 things all the time. And so we feel like we're off to a great start this summer. We obviously have a lot of things we can talk about, the team in a second. But from a business perspective, we're really excited about the TV deal because it's really big for the community and the fans. We want all of our people to watch our games through the whole state of Arizona. We're so excited about the TV change that we have, which is different than most NBA teams in the league. But also on top of that, all the fan experience that we had to deal with OVG for the concessions. We've done some things, obviously, off the court from a perspective of the community. We've got the WNBA All-Star Game, which we're really excited. We're working on, hopefully, getting an NBA one also. Working on a lot of great things here in the community and tied to fan experience. And then, of course, on the court, which we can talk about too, we think we've got a great team. I think we've got the best team in the league, but obviously we got to play it out, And we're really excited. I think we got a great coach with Frank Vogel. Obviously, James Jones and Josh Bartelstein have done a great job working together, building this as an organization, along with so many other people. And then the players. Obviously our star players, Booker and Durant, and obviously adding Beal. And then we got so many amazing players. I think from anyone's perspective, we've got a great team that's deep. The way I look at it is simple: is we want to get better. We want to get better every day in what we do. And I think if you look at where we finished Game 6 when we lost to Denver to where we are today, we're better. Are we good enough to win the championship, the NBA Cup, the NBA championship? Are we good enough? We're going to find out. But we feel really great about all the change we made. And this summer's been an amazing summer, and excited to go forward. So with that, I'll pause and take questions because I think it's more valuable for you guys to ask me what you want. And so I'll open it up.
Dwayne.
Yes, Dwayne Reagan, Arizona Republic. Good to see you, Matt.
How are you?
Yes, sir. Wanted to ask, obviously, about making the trade, trading Ayton to Portland, and maybe, A, what led to it, and B, why was the time now to make that move with him, the trading?
Yeah, no, so, DeAndre Ayton's a great player. We love to have him on the team. He's a great part of our organization. I think he's going to do great in Portland. I really think he'll put up some great numbers and really impress a lot of people, which is exciting for us. And I wish him nothing but the best. He's a great person and great guy. But for our team, Nurkic was a better fit for us. And we're trying to win a championship now. And what Nurkic can do on the court and what he'll do off the court and fit into our organization, he's a better fit for us. And that was the decision we made when we had the opportunity to make that decision. And then on top of that, to get Grayson Allen and Nasir Little and get a group of guys that will make us a better team. Our team got better that day, and without question. And so we're really excited about that. And once again, Nurkic might not put up the numbers that DeAndre will put up, which is perfectly fine. We want everyone to play their role. Just like I got to be the best owner I can be, everyone's got to be their role. We're building around 3 superstars, Kevin, Devin, and Brad, and Nurkic is a great fit along with Grayson and Nasir, like I said, a group of people, and that we have a lot of depth and just a great all-around team. So we wish DeAndre nothing but the best. He was a great part of the organization, and he'll do great things in Portland, but for us, Nurkic is a better fit, and it wasn't my decision or one person, it was a unanimous decision that we think this is the right thing for our team.
Quick follow. You've obviously made some huge moves since you got here from day one with obviously Durant and then Beal and now Ayton. What for you is it a matter of, look, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get this team where it needs to be? Maybe just explain the mindset you have to go for these kind of moves when, quite frankly, a lot of teams aren't trying to make that many in that short period of time.
Listen, it's very clear. Like my job, I work for the community. I work for the fan base. I work for the people. We're trying to win. I talked about fan experience. Like anything we can do to win, we're going to try to win. My role as a person, like I run a mortgage company. I'm a leader of that organization. I got there as 12 people. We have 7,000 plus. We're the #1 mortgage company in America. Take over as Phoenix Suns. Like we want to be the best organization in all sports. Right? Definitely in the NBA and the Mercury for the WNBA. And so with that being said, like anything that makes us better, we're going to do. We're going to always try to improve. I don't care if it's the fan experience, the community, a player, a free agent. We're going to try to get better and win. I think that's what you'd want from me. And if I was a fan, that's what I'd want. That's what I've always wanted as a fan. And so that's what I'm going to deliver every single day. And so if we can get better, we're going to get better. And so I don't take it as risky or not risky. Like we're trying to win. We're trying to win at everything we do. And that's what I'm about. That's what Josh, James, Frank, of course, our star players, all of our players, that's what they're about. We're trying to win. And so that's what we're thinking about. So if there's a way to make us better, I'm going to do it, whether it's on or off the court.
Hey, Matt, Colin Olson, Arizona Sports over here in the front. Good to see you, Matt. How are you doing?
When you got here in February, you said you sort of wanted to assimilate yourself and kind of settle in, right, and ask a lot of questions. You've done so now, and in your first full season as an owner, what are you looking to really accomplish, and what are you expecting to achieve now that you have settled in?
You know, the biggest thing was it's all about the people. We've got a great team of people here, so getting the right people in the organization, which I think we've done, set the right culture, which we've made a lot of changes, and you'll hear more about those things coming soon in the organization. But then, of course, focusing on the fans. Like the fan, this is what we're doing this for, right? This is not for Matt. This is for the fans. This is for the community. This is for Phoenix, for the state of Arizona. And so for me, getting settled in and understanding all the dynamics was really important. And then once we realized it, start making changes. That's what this summer was about, right? You know, I said when I was at my initial press conference, I'm going to listen and learn a lot, as you pointed out. And obviously, I made a Kevin Durant trade. You know, we made that decision that day. But besides that, we basically looked at things, analyzed things. I was at a lot of the games, if not every, you know, in analyzing what we can do better, listened to a lot of fans, met with a lot of people, and then we started making a lot of changes. And hopefully you're going to see everything, not just the players on the court, but you're going to see, when you walk through the concourse, you're going to see some huge changes. When you see everything that we do, the new court, we're trying to make things better. And so once we understand where we're at, now it's about tweaking. And then you're going to have the same question for me in 10 years, and I'll be making things better then too. We're always trying to make things better. And so now that I have my bearings and we have our bearings, we have our team in place, we're ready to roll. Thank you.
Hey, Matt, good to see you. Gerald Bourguet, PHNX.
How are you?
When you look at the margins that you guys had to work on in terms of rounding out the rest of the roster and free agency, some of the limitations as a second tax apron team, how important was it for you guys to have a strategy in place in terms of who we were going to target and go out aggressively to make your pitch right at the start of free agency?
Yeah, well, it's a big part. Well, first off, a lot of credit to the Phoenix community. People will want to come to Phoenix. Players want to play here. Secondly, James Jones does a fantastic job. He's a former NBA player, NBA champion, right? Josh Bartelstein does a great job, understands the games. Like, we have people, and then, of course, playing for Frank Vogel, and then the easiest one is I got Devin and Kevin, right? And so people really want to play with those guys. And then we obviously traded for Brad as well. And so I don't have to be that good of a salesperson, recruiter, when I got all those great people behind me. And so, but we were aggressive. We had to build out, and it wasn't, let's get whoever we can sign. It was, hey, let's get the right guys here. And we thought strategically about it. We analyzed every free agent, every possibility, and we targeted people, and we got the guys we wanted. And some of them, it surprised us that we could get them, because it surprised a lot of people that it's like, but they were so excited to be part of a championship team. When you talk to people about, say, hey, let's try to play into April, May, and June on national television, they said, I want to be part of that. And I have a chance to earn some minutes. Let me go play for Frank Vogel. I'll show him I can do it offensively and defensively. And I get to play with Booker, Beal, and Durant. Like, man, like I said, it's not that hard to sell it when you get that. And then we're in Phoenix. So we were aggressive, and we got a great group of guys. And I know a lot of people question, could we do it? Because all the tax implications, luxury tax or second apron stuff. But the reality is, it didn't affect us. We're focusing on winning, and we're in position to win, and players want to be part of something special, and that's what we're trying to create. It's bigger than just the dollars and cents. It's being part of a team and an organization, and I think they recognize that, and that's why a lot of them joined. Thank you.
Matt, Richard Sines, Fox 10, good to see you.
How are you?
You kind of just, piggybacking off of your statements here, you talked about, the DeAndre Ayton trade, and because was it just a better fit? How important was it to add depth and size to this particular roster, and getting the right guys that are bought in to what it takes to win a championship?
Well, it's extremely important, right? So, if you look at our team last year to this year, I think we've not only gotten better from a perspective of, players on the court, but also depth all the way through, right? 1 through 15, and if you count the two ways, 17 or 18 potential players. So for us, that was very important, right? I think the team with the best players wins. So you only can play 5 at a time. So even if you see the Denver line last year, I think they played 7 or 8 through most of the playoffs. So you don't need 15. However, injuries happen, people get sick, things happen throughout the season, different players play better. So we wanted to build out the best team and give a lot of credit to James, and he collaborated with Frank, he collaborated with the players, he collaborated with Josh. Like, they put it together, and I think we've got a great team, 1 through 15. All those guys contribute, and the training camp's gonna be a lot of fun because they're gonna be competing, right? When we hired Frank, you heard him talk about they're gonna be scrappy. He said that's how they're gonna be competing for playing time, competing for an opportunity to be on that court, and I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be a fan like all of you guys watching it. Thank you.
Matt, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic columnist. Good to see you, man.
How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm doing all right, thanks, yeah. What's it been like, man? Come on, Kevin Durant, new coach, spending all this money. You're the center of the NBA world, right? What has it been like to have that much attention and that much focus on you?
Well, first off, it's been an amazing time, right? I don't know if I'm the center of the basketball world, but I'm part of the center, which is the Phoenix Suns, in my belief, and also this great team of people we've gotten. And so I'm the leader, right? But I'm part of it. And so I've had a best time. I mean, when you dream about buying a team and running an organization, it's fun. And then when you actually do it, it's 10 times more fun. And obviously I got to be in this great community and great opportunity. I mean, it's easy, like you kind of joke, like, you ever see those things on the internet, like who would you build your team around if you could buy an NBA team? Like my guy was Devin Booker. Like I got to buy a team with Devin Booker. Like I got the dream scenario. Who else would you want to build your team around? So it starts with Devin Booker. He makes a lot of things easier. And a lot of things fun. And then, of course, getting Kevin, that first day, and then building around those two guys. And it's been a lot of fun. Frank Vogel's been great. James Jones, Josh Bartelstein. Like, I got a great team. But also, the business side's been fun, too. I love business. And so I've got great business people from Dan Costello to Stacy Mitch we hired and Jeff Chang. I mean, there's so many people I can name off all these business people that are out there bringing in new deals. And I get to be in the midst of that. And so as the leader, my job is I work for them. My job is to deliver them the resources, put them in position to succeed. And then obviously I respond, but I'm having a blast. Hopefully you can tell, because I'm having a lot of fun, because it's how could you not? And then obviously I'm excited to watch the first games and be part of it with all of you guys.
Brandon,
Thank you.
the last question, Brandon. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Brandon Brown with the Phoenix Journal. You talked about the TV deal a little bit earlier. I was wondering if you could just give us a little insight. Is that something, a lot of maybe either teams around the Valley have maybe asked you, other owners asked you about, or the people in the NBA? And then also maybe what's the demand been like on obviously a lot of people are asking for the antennas, but when it comes to advertisers and stuff, what's it been like on that type of demand?
Yeah, so I think, listen, as I said up here, 8 months ago, whatever it was, and said, we want to be the elite NBA franchise and the elite WNBA franchise. In order to do that, we're going to make changes and make things that maybe are not common. I'm not going to be the regular owner that just comes in and just, I'm not a silent investor that's not involved and doesn't really have my perspective. Like I'm active and engaged. We talk about fan experience, and it's crazy that fans can't watch all the games. And it's crazy that the fans have to pay to watch games if they're sitting at their home or at their hotel. I mean, I was staying at a hotel until recently, and now you couldn't get the game sometimes. That's not how we're going to do things. And now, although that's commonplace, doesn't mean it's right. And so on the TV deal, I definitely think we're leading. And like I said, we're gonna try to be leaders. We're gonna be the best in everything we do here. And so the TV deal is definitely a different way of looking at things, and hopefully other NBA teams and other teams in the Valley will follow as well. If you put money first, you don't make decisions like that. We don't put money first on anything. We put winning, success, fan experience, community first. And when you do those things, money will follow. And so the TV deal is just an example of that. Yes, like, are there advertisers? They're gonna be excited. Yeah, we'll figure out how to make it, but it's not about the money. It's about, I got 3 million households, not 3 million fans, 3 million households. So everyone in the state of Arizona can watch. And yeah, the people that said they couldn't, we sent them a bunch of TV antennas, right? Like my parents, with the bunny ears, like my parents would watch it. And that's what we want to do, make it simple and easy to watch our team. And why would we not want to do that, right? And so we're really excited about it, the TV deal. I think other NBA teams, other teams will follow, and we'll keep everyone posted on how it's going. But to me, when more fans can watch our games, kids, adults, everybody can watch our team, and how can anyone lose? That's a winning combination right there.
Thanks, Matt.
Great. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Appreciate you being here.
Okay, we're going to keep going. Phoenix Suns, Phoenix Mercury CEO, Josh Bartelstein. We'll start and we'll open it up with questions.
Good morning.
We can do that.
With opening statement, Josh?
Matt did a great job with it. I'm all yours.
Okay. Well, first, just wanted to ask about the Ayton trade, and obviously you had an integral part in it. Just curious on the role that you played in that and how you're feeling about it now that the deal's been done.
Yeah, I think it's a partnership. I think Matt hit on it. Myself, James, Frank, and Matt, we're constantly canvassing the league and looking at how to improve our team. And we thought, as Matt said, Nurkic was a great fit for this team. His passing ability, how skilled he is offensively, what Coach Vogel is going to do from defensively. And then Grayson Allen, someone we targeted, his shooting, and there's still little of his defensive versatility. So we all play a part in it. And so much of this business is relationships and who you know. And our job is to kind of keep making this team better and better. And we can sit here today saying that we're deeper, more talented, and can't wait for the ball to drop.
This role, I'm just curious how you, maybe when you first got the job to now, how you have embraced it and how you're trying to maybe learn on the fly, but yet working with James and then working with Matt. So how are you navigating all of that, yet still having to be part of huge decisions?
Yeah, I'm having the time of my life. It's been awesome. It's been 6 months, not that anyone's counting, but both the business and basketball side. And that's the unique thing for me, having been in Detroit and done both business and basketball, and then take that here to Phoenix. But James and I have formed an unbelievable bond and partnership. We talk every single day, different ideas, and it goes on both sides. I talk to James about basketball stuff. James helps me a ton with business stuff and trying to close deals and talk about fan experience. So it's been everything I could possibly imagine. I love living here. It's not nearly as nice in Detroit as it is out here right now, and we just keep moving forward.
Hey, Josh, Gerald, good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm curious, with being able to work with James and with Matt and, looking at some of the second tax apron stuff that you guys have to work around now, how nice is it to be able to have sort of carte blanche to make some of these aggressive trades and go after guys that might be able to, try and sign for more elsewhere and pitch them just right off the bat like that?
Yeah, no, we're lucky. I mean, I think it's Matt's vision, right? When the new CBA came out and we spent a ton of time evaluating the second apron, Matt's view was like, let's just blow right through it. Like, let's go get a star player in Bradley Beal. Let's go add the most depth. Let's look at ways that we can add money in trades and bring back real rotation players. Having been in the NBA now, this is my 9th season, that's not common. So to have an owner who's truly dedicated to winning, I think it's one of his pillars. But you can talk about it, but then when you back that up with the moves you've made, it's, there's not many who can say that. So it gives us a huge opportunity, and that's why Matt's involved in this. We run all these scenarios, and I'll put all these things on a teeter-totter, what's going to help us win the most. He's always supportive and always in the weeds helping us define what success is.
Hey, Josh. Eli Avgabai back here. Eli Avgabai, Sports 360 AZ, all the way in the back.
Yeah, all the way in the back. There you go.
All the way in the
back. Yes.
So you've mentioned, obviously, the finger you have on the pulse of the community and the commitment to winning. Have you felt that energy as you're even walking around in the city when they appreciate the moves y'all are making and just the effort in trying to bring a title here?
1,000%. When people ask what's been the biggest surprise, it's the emotion that's listed, that people feel for the Suns and Mercury. People love the Suns. They love the Mercury. They want to talk about our trades. They want to talk about the games. That is a special place in people's heart. I always tell our team on the business side, that's the opportunity we have. When these doors open and 17,000 screaming fans come in here, we have a chance to make a memory, an experience. And they may cry of happiness. They also may cry because they're not real happy with us. But we have a responsibility to make a memory. And when people are that invested in the Suns and Mercury, we're stewards. We're stewards to move this organization forward because of how impactful the Suns and Mercury are to everyone who lives in the Valley.
Hey, Josh, this is Dave King with SB Nation, Bright Side of the Sun. So you joined the organization 6 months ago, and you joined a team that had won a ton of playoff games, a ton of regular season games, and you've made a lot of changes since the end of the season. I know you've been a big part of that. Talk about a little bit the relationship you built with James Jones, because he's the one who built this last team, and then you guys have made so many changes this summer.
Yeah, it's special. It's incredibly unique. It's a testament to James, the person he is. I didn't know James when I took this job. I remember the first call I made with him, and he reached out to me and just said how excited he was to have a partner on the business side. And we formed an incredible bond. I think so many times in sports, business, basketball, football, there's insecurity right around any single move. We're just totally aligned. Like, we do things together. We make calls together. We share ideas together. And it's not just us, it's James's entire team. So what's made my time so enjoyable is building bonds with people like James, because he's had incredible success. He does things the right way. And for him to open his arms and embrace me the way he did, I think the success that we've had in the offseason, we got to win games this year, is Matt's vision, and James kind of being a steward here who's led this thing for a long time and had immense success as a player and now as an executive.
Josh, Trevor Booth with Clutch Points. Devin Booker is obviously your franchise player. What's the relationship been like with him in the front office, and how much was he in the loop with the moves you guys made this offseason?
Yeah, Devin's awesome. I mean, he gets it. He gets the basketball. He gets the business of basketball. Just to see his growth, of how good of a player he's become. And he just keeps going, right? I mean, his linear success is unprecedented. But I think our job as leaders is to always keep your star players engaged, because they have a depth and knowledge of basketball that very few do. So We're always talking. We're always sharing ideas. He knows the door is always open. He's always talking to James. And we want to build a championship and want Devin to be a Sun forever.
Hey, Josh. Mark McClune, Arizona's family. Championship expectations, you just mentioned it right there. Why is it important to verbalize those publicly?
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate goal, right? We're big on setting goals and then going to hit them. I think when you invest in the team like we did, when you put this roster together, that's the goal. Now, is it going to be easy? No, there's going to be losing streak. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be injuries. But ultimately, you play this game, to win a championship. And we feel like we've put together a really good roster, but we're excited for the journey. I think the journey's, people always want to look at the end result. We just want to embrace every single day. I mean, there's so many people who are excited just for practice to start tomorrow and see the ball bouncing, hear the ball going through the net, and kind of just ride this thing through 82 games and hopefully a long playoff run. But that's the stated goal every year. It's hard. It's a zero-sum game, but that's why you do this.
Hey, Josh, Brandon Brown from the Phoenix Business Journal. I heard 95% for season ticket renewals. I wonder if you could tell me about what's the demand been like. I know Matt said it's not all about money, but with that, with that type of man, I'm sure you guys can raise prices a little bit, get a little extra revenue.
Yeah, demand's unbelievable. Everyone wants to come to a game. We certainly don't have a demand issue, so we're in a great spot with our season tickets. We're constantly trying to find ways to create new products to get more people here, right? There's a supply issue because you don't have any more seats, but how do we create new suites? How do we create more seats? We're constantly looking at being innovative and doing things to increase the fan experience. So it's been awesome. We have a long wait list. That's a good problem to have, but it's a problem. So we're trying to figure out how to get more people in this building so everyone can experience a Suns game.
Hey, Josh. Shane Yeoman, Forward Sports, right here. What are your earlier impressions of Frank since, I guess, he got the job and took over?
I called Frank's probably standing somewhere over here. I called him Saturday night and just said how much I've enjoyed getting to know him as a person. It seems like it was yesterday we were talking and interviewing, and James did a great job leading that process. But as someone who's younger, I remember watching Coach Vogel's teams with the Pacers and kind of just admiring how they played. But as good of a coach as he is, he's an even better person. That's what everyone said throughout the process. You guys are going to see firsthand over the course of this year. He's just an unbelievable guy. He gets the bigger picture. He's a phenomenal partner, and we're very, very lucky to have him here.
Jody Ayler, Fox Sports 910. Josh, I'm sure you've described a pretty collaborative approach to basketball decision-making, which is fairly unique across the league. When it comes to making a final decision, how is the final decision made and who makes it?
Yeah, ultimately it's Matt's. We have an owner who's in the weeds with it. So James's job, my job, Frank's job is we present our joke, a menu of options of kind of here's the different things to look at. But we have an owner who understands basketball. He played it. He's been around it his whole life. So ultimately it's Matt's decision. And our job is to cast a wide net, try to find as much value as we can, and present what we want to do. And of course we give recommendations, what we think, but ultimately it's Matt's call. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to seeing you all year.
We continue our coverage of the Suns 2023 Media Day. Tom Leander along with Tom Chambers, the legend, joining us here. Heard from Matt Ishbia, the Suns and Mercury governor, and also President Josh Bartelstein just then. I mean, interesting stuff, too, because I think a lot of fans, TC, are wondering about the decision-making process. I mean, you have James Jones, who's been constructing these rosters, and now you have Josh Bartelstein, who has a basketball background as well. But the ultimate decision-maker, there's no question about it, is Matt Ishbia, once he looks at that selection of choices, that menu that James Jones and Josh bring to him.
What a whirlwind we've had with these guys and all of the deals being done. But yeah, when you hear Matt Ishbia talk, you know he's involved. This guy is on top of it.
Also involved is the general manager of this team, James Jones. He is at the podium right now.
Devin will be the guy to be the initiate offense. I know it'll be multiple ball handlers, but how you feel like Devin, who has done that for periods, will be able to handle that in that role with this group?
I mean, Devin's a player. I mean, he's been able to figure out how to be effective on the ball, off the ball. When you add him plus Brad and the guys that we don't really talk about, Jordan Goodwins of our team, the Eric Gordons of our team, we have more than enough ball handling. And when you have great players, they find a way to make great plays. So I'm excited about the opportunity for him, and I can tell you he's not going to complain about having the ball in his hands more. So we're looking forward to that.
Okay. And then obviously with the trade, obviously much as obviously talked about Aiden, but what do you feel like you guys are getting in Nurkic in return that's going to, because Matt talked about fit, so could you just elaborate on that, on how you think the fit will be with Nurkic at center?
I mean, Nurk's going to be great for us. You know, his skill set complements our best guys, and more importantly, he's ready to win. He's been in a situation the last few years where they're just playing to try to get to where we are, but we're playing to win championships. And if you get a really good player who's motivated and you give them an opportunity to win a title, you usually see the best versions of those players. And so I know we talk about Nurk, but we also got Nasir. We targeted Grayson as someone who could help us, Keon. All those guys collectively, they make us a better team. And so we make decisions that we know will make us better. And when we see those opportunities, we go and attack it.
Talk about the vision of Ishbia and you carrying out his vision. I know you spoke on that before. How big is that, just having that connectivity with him and knowing, okay, this is what he wants, and it's my job to go out and make the moves to please what we're trying to do as a team?
For me, it's phenomenal. Rarely do you get a chance to have someone whose visions and goals line up with yours. Like, make no mistake about it. We're about winning. I want to win games. I'm not trying to win the media. I'm not trying to win press conferences. I just want to win games. It takes a lot of winning to win a title. And Matt believes that and understands that it takes a lot, an investment in the people across the organization. So when you talk about the investments we've made in business operations and basketball operations for the Suns, it gives you all the tools you need to go out there and execute. And so if we can execute, we'll do what we all dream of doing, which is winning a title, and we'll be able to bring a title to Phoenix for the first time in franchise history.
Hey, James. Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports, over here in the front. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
With the moves that you've made since you've taken this position, it's been very clear what a Suns player is. We see it on the court, the attributes that you look for. Has that changed at all with the change in head coach, or is it still the same types of things you're looking for? Does it change with Frank as opposed to Monty's?
No, it's the same. You know, the roster's different, but the ingredients are the same. It takes toughness. It takes extreme discipline. It takes skill. It takes desire. You have to be tough to win a title. You have to go through the gauntlet of the NBA and the world's best players and come out on top. So that hasn't changed. I just have a coach right now who understands those things, who really embraces the challenge of making sure that we're exceptional at the small things, the basics, the details that a lot of times are overlooked. Those things make you robust. And when you add elite talent like we have on top of that, it just gives you a better shot. And that's all we want. We want a chance to be there at the end against the game's best players with a team and with a coach that understands and knows what it takes.
Hey, James, Gerald Bourguet, good to see you.
Good to see you.
After the trades, obviously you guys had kind of limited means on the money side to work with, you know, signing free agents. How do you like the way that you guys were able to round out the roster and bring in some of the guys that you did?
Well, I mean, I was ecstatic the moment we were able to bring these things together, but understand the work's never done. We'll just find creative ways. We'll continue to be aggressive and attack all of those constraints that are put in front of us when you're trying to build a great team. So it's the business, right? Like, some people are looking to do things and be comfortable and say, hey, we did it. Now let's roll it out and see what it looks like. My mentality's different. Like, let's continue to build. And when we do something, let's find a way to make it better, because there's always a better way. There's always a way to improve. And if you put those types of people, players, in a room, you can do great things.
Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Over here, James.
Hey, Greg.
How's it going, man?
Great.
What will you be able to say to the new guys, right, about the amount of attention that they're about to receive? You've been around franchises. You've been on teams that everybody paid attention to. Phoenix is now in that echelon. What's it going to be like, or what can you say to players to prepare themselves for the level of attention and scrutiny that they're about to get?
You rarely get a chance to be in this position. And so don't take it for granted. Embrace it and attack it, right? Like, no one plays this game to come in second. You know, everyone wants to be first. Everyone wants to lift the trophy. You want to win. And so you legitimately have a chance to win. Just bring it every day. Every day you come into the building, think about how you can move us closer to a title.
Hey, James. Mark McClune, Arizona's family, right here.
Hey,
why? Yeah, good to see you too. Why was it time to move DeAndre Ayton?
because we saw an opportunity to get better. There is never a perfect time to make a move, but there always are moments where you can evaluate, is this a pivot point where we can improve? And I thought that was the case. DeAndre's a tremendous player. Like I said before, we don't reach the heights that we reached without DeAndre and the guys that were with us on those prior teams. But this is a new team, and all teams evolve. And when you add talent, when you add new players, the team shifts. And when the team shifts, you have a choice. You can stand still or you can improve. And so we chose the latter.
James, Richard Sines, Fox 10, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you again.
Matt was up here and his energy is amazing. He says all the right things, but it's not just, obviously, I'll talk with this guy, the actions there as well. What's it like to have an owner that is not worried about money and not worried about anything but winning and telling, guys like yourself and Josh, like, look, let's do what we have to do to win and worry about the money later. How great is that as a GM to be able to go out there?
But you have to eat and you have to sleep because his energy is relentless, right? But it's great because a lot of times when you're thinking about, we can overthink things a lot in this business where you try to overanalyze, do I do this, should I do this, who should I play, and all these other things. And Matt's like, hey, just make a decision and get after it. And you'll have all the resources that you need, but more importantly, you'll have my attention. And that helps you. So when we talk about the decision-making process here in Phoenix, how it's different from other places, we have three people, myself, Josh, and Matt, who are constantly thinking all day, 24/7, how do we improve our team? And so when I'm asleep, he's up on the East Coast thinking about how we improve. And when Josh is asleep, I'm up in the Pacific Northwest at a game thinking about how we can improve. And vice versa. Josh is always, as the CEO of this company, thinking about how do we improve the business and basketball. And so it's great because I don't feel there are any gaps. And sometimes those gaps will prevent you from being elite.
James, Amin Al-Hassan, Meadowlark Media.
Hey, Amin.
What's up, James? How's it going?
Good.
How long were you guys engaged with Portland on a deal for Nurkic? And then generically, what's been the hardest part of this offseason for you?
We were engaged with them long enough to make a deal. And that's my answer for that. What was the second part of your question?
It was, what's been the hardest part of this offseason for you?
Just waiting, right? Like we made some big moves. We've acquired some really good people across the board, some competitive people, and like I've been waiting for the opportunity to see them in training camp, to see them compete and go after each other. Because as much as it seems like it's nice, we have three guys at the top of our roster that are fighting to be the best versions of themselves, and that's pretty cool to watch. And so I'm just looking forward to training camp getting started and us playing real games where we can really lock in and focus on who we are and continue to build the chemistry necessary to win in the playoffs. Because that's all we're looking at right now is how can we build the necessary chemistry to win in the playoffs.
James, Doug Howler with The Athletic over here.
Hey, Doug.
Good to see you. Matt Ishbia takes over last February. New ideas, new leader. There are speculation about his leadership team. Was there ever a time where you wondered about your future here in Phoenix? And if so, how did you approach that?
Well, to be candid, I think about my future all the time because I hold myself to a standard. Like if I'm in a position where I'm not helping this team win, I'm thinking, am I doing my job, right? And when you're talking about being dependable and being a teammate and being someone that has to be on point for things to come together, internally you think about it. But as far as like worrying about my future, no. If you do that, like you're looking backwards. I'm always looking forward. If I do my job and we do the things that I think we can, everything will take care of itself. We'll do what I set out to do when I took this job and I made the transition from being a player to being an executive. I want to be a part of a team or lead a team to a championship. And that's my only focus. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing the job. And what comes with that, I'm cool with.
Dana Scott from Arizona Republic. How's it going, James?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Last year, the bench scoring was a concern from the preseason, through the playoffs. And so obviously there's a different team this year, but how important is this preseason to prove that chemistry with this new team?
I do think that it's always important. If you look at the stats for NBA teams, you need bench scoring. But I don't think it has to come from the bench. I think that's just your second lineup scoring. And that's part of the reason we made we made the push for Brad. If we can leave one of our elite scorers on the floor with our secondary lineup, you supplement that with really good backup players or guys at the second level of the rotation. It just gives you the ability to score with your second unit. And you have to be able to do that because we can't expect our top guys to have it every night. And we have to win that game with our second unit. So it's always a concern for me. It's always something that we think about. Is that an external is there an external solution or an internal solution? I think right now we have a blend of both with the acquisitions that we made.
James, over here. Dave King with SB Nation Brightside. There's only one player left and one assistant coach left from the NBA Finals appearance, and then there's only 5 left basically from the last time you guys suited up. How difficult was it for you to let go of the guys who got you to the finals and let go of that core who got you so far in the last couple of years to make all these changes?
From a personal perspective, it's always tough whenever you change teammates, right? Like you do a lot with them. Like you overcome a lot of struggles. You put in a lot of time, a lot of sweat equity. All those things are true, but that's backward looking. Like I can't afford to look backwards. There's too much attention that needs to be paid going forward. So it's a part of the game. It's a part of the business. And as teams grow, they change. And we've grown, and so we've changed. But I still believe that no matter like where we are, where we've been, our future is bright, and that's where we all have to look.
Hi, James. Doug Franz Unplugged, WTSMTV.com. You said earlier you targeted Grayson Allen. You thought he could help. You know his reputation. Some people say play with an edge. Other people say dirty. Do you embrace that edge? Do you think this team needs a Grayson Allen, or do you want him to work on changing that perception?
I just think the mentality, it's not a player individually. Like, we just need a tough mentality. And yeah, you have to play on the edges. I'm not talking about being reckless. We'll never, ever encourage a player to injure someone. Like, you can compete without being reckless. I just think that for us, our environment would dictate how our guys behave. Our actions will matter. You know, like you'll see, like that's not who we are. That's not who we've ever been. And players usually adjust. They'll adapt. And I'm pretty sure Grayson knows that if he's surrounded by players that push it, he maybe doesn't have to push as hard. But collectively as a group, yeah, we're going to play with an edge. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Doing great.
Hello. Here we go.
On.
No, it's already on. It's just I have
go.
to speak in it a certain way. It's trial by error, Coach. First, just a quick hit on Damian Lee with the knee. Is it a tear? Is it a sprain? What's his status as far as his knee?
Yeah, well, we just know that he's going to be out for a while. You know, I don't want to get into the specifics. I think we had a release a couple of days ago, and you know, that's all we're going to say about it.
Curious in terms of Devin, in terms of him handling the ball more, and you've talked about multiple ball handlers, but at some point, at the end of a game, it usually goes to one guy to make decisions, and it looks like it'll be Devin. How do you feel like he will play or thrive or handle that role, considering who he's playing with?
Exceptionally well. We've got great pieces around him. He's been a guy that throughout his career has a ton of experience off the ball as well as with the basketball. And, I think that part's going to be seamless.
Lastly, with Nurkic, obviously you've been huge with centers who have been good as far as defensively, whether it's Hibbert, whether it's Davis, whether it's Howard. Where do you see Nurkic in that role being a defensive anchor for what you're trying to pull off defensively?
Yeah, well, that's what you just said the words, a defensive anchor, and his ability to pass the basketball offensively with the perimeter firepower that we have. really makes him a great fit for our system. He's one of the best defensive rebounders in the game. So as we compete to guard, we're going to force a lot of misses, and we got a board. We want to get out and be a running team. We need somebody that can dominate the defensive boards, and he's elite at that.
Hey, Frank. Kellen Olson, there's no sports. Good to see you. With this trade, it's not often that a team makes a trade in late September that changes the way that you're going to play. What are some of the differences you see in Yusuf's game compared to the way that you might have seen the team play with DeAndre?
Yeah, well, the two things that stick out, what I just mentioned, is that he's a dominant defensive rebounder and that he's an exceptional passing big. So to be able to throw the ball to him and have our guys in movement, it just gives us a different dynamic than them just coming down playing pick and roll or post or ISO every time down. So whether we're throwing to him in the post and splitting and cutting, or throwing him to him at the top of the key, we really want to get those guys in space, get bodies off of our elite scorers on the perimeter, and Yusuf does that for us.
Hey, Frank, good to see you. Joe Bourget.
Good to see you, Joe.
I'm just curious because there are so many new faces on this team, and you're obviously coming into a new situation here as well. As a coach, does it excite you, all the potential positional battles for minutes that you're going to see in training camp? Or is that the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. Obviously, when you have the makeup of our team being fairly new and coaching staff being fairly new, there is what I call a continuity disadvantage against certain opponents, like the ones that knocked us out last year. Denver has been together a few years, and obviously that continuity helped them win the championship last year. But there also can be a huge spark from a new group coming together like we have, and that's what my focus is on. That we're going to take advantage of that first year energy, the refresh energy that we're going to have with our group, and hopefully that overcomes any type of continuity disadvantage.
Hi, Frank. Doug Haller with The Athletic over here. How are you?
Hi, Doug.
In the teams that you've coached that have had great chemistry, has there been a common denominator that's kind of brought all that together?
I think the number one thing is willingness and selflessness, and the desire to reach a common goal. That's what is, quite frankly, necessary for a team to win a championship. Teams don't win championships that aren't connected, and I think those are the most common things that that we'll preach with our guys, and quite frankly, for me and my experience as a head coach, chemistry has always been something that you have to strive for. That it's an achievement. It's not these guys get along or these pieces quote unquote fit on paper. But how are you working towards that off the court? Connecting to players through team bonding events and dinners and whatnot, and on the court, working through things. But the style of play. People talk about culture all the time, and what's the environment like when you come to work. But there's an on the court culture that has to be established to have great chemistry as well. We're not going to be a team that takes offensive shots. We're not going to be a team that takes possessions off on the defensive end and offends teammates. So, the on-the-court culture is something that has to be achieved.
Damian Adams here with Burn City Sports. Is there anything that you learned from your time with the Lakers that you're able to bring forward to help Phoenix win going forward?
Yeah, hi, Damian. And, I think every coaching spot that you have, you learn different lessons. I cut my teeth at Indiana as a head coach. I learned to evolve my system in Orlando. I learned to work with elite stars in LA and see them transition into the modern NBA. So I think those are probably the biggest lessons with the Lakers is working with elite stars that were in their prime that I didn't necessarily have in Indiana, Orlando. But those lessons and like I said, transitioning, the system, to evolve with the way the modern NBA plays basketball, because the game is very different than it was 5-10 years ago.
Coach, this is Dane Scott from Arizona Republic. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Yeah. So it's a totally different team from the 2021 finals team. New coach. How important is this preseason for you in improving that chemistry that you're talking about?
Well, it's a starting point. I don't want to overemphasize the importance of it. I think the key for us is to understand that we're in the midst of a marathon, or at the beginning of a marathon, and the starting point is important. Some situations you hit the ground running, and the integration is seamless. Sometimes it takes a little more time for a team to gel, and we don't know what that's going to look like for our group, but. The preseason is the beginning, of our long journey. So hopefully we're able to gel very quickly, install our system very quickly, and be able to hit the ground running on opening night.
Coach Greg Moore, over this way. Bam.
There you go, way over there. You sound like you're over here.
It's a trick. Good to finally be around you. Columnist, Arizona Republic. My question is about your time in Indiana, your time in Orlando, your time in LA. So there's the on-the-court stuff, but then there's all the extra, right? All the attention that's paid, the national media, the fact that you're on all the talk shows. What are you going to be able to relay to your team about the differences between those experiences, the difference of the experience in Indiana versus the difference in experience in Los Angeles with the level of attention being paid to you from everybody in the basketball world?
Well, I think the number one lesson is that we have to block out all noise, positive noise and negative noise. And we really have to focus on the task at hand and, the people that are in our building, in our group. We're a smaller market, but we are a star-laden team. So we will get a great deal of national attention, and we can't let anything that's said change the way we're approaching our business. We know what the job looks like and what we have to get done, and we can't allow outside noise to distract us from that.
Coach Richard Sines, Fox 10. Good to see you. You've said words like scrappy, not taking possessions off on the defensive end, competing to defend. It's obvious defense is important to you. When you add a guy like Grayson Allen, how does that help in that department? Because he seems like a guy that you're not a big fan of if he's on the other team, but boy, you love him when he's on your team.
For sure. And, Grayson, by nature, is a scrappy player. He plays extremely hard, he plays extremely physical, and he's an irritant. And like you said, you love guys like that on your team, and you hate playing against them, But a lot of irritants type of players in the NBA aren't as skilled as Grayson Allen is. That's what I love about what he brings to the table. He brings that scrappy mindset, but he's an elite three-point shooter. He's an elite playmaker. He can attack the basket. He's got a great IQ for making the extra pass. So you have a rare combination of a really scrappy player that's highly skilled.
Coach, Bob Hune, Associated Press.
Hi, Bob.
A question about spring training once you start workouts and in the process. How quickly will you know how a player is going to fit into your system, what he's going to be capable of, and also how do you coach him up, whether you are hard on the player or really not as hard as a specific player?
Well, I think how you coach them is something that is you learn as you go. Every player responds to different levels of coaching. How quickly I'll know whether they fit into our system. I would say there's a great starting point for every player on our team. And that's why they're here. If we didn't feel like they fit into our system, we wouldn't ask James and Matt and Josh to acquire them. So I think the starting point of how well they're going to fit is really high for all of our players, and preseason, the regular season, those lessons that we learn when they get their opportunities to actually perform in our system, will give us those answers.
Hey, Frank, Mark McClune, Arizona's family.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, good to see you. With training camp, and you have your three guys that will likely, be on the floor for you, but the other two spots and the rest of the playing time up for grabs. How fierce do you think the competition will be for that playing time? How fierce would you like it to be?
Fierce but healthy. We're all on the same team. There will be an element of winning the job. but there will also be an element of this stretch. I'd like to see this combination play for the next 5 games, or for the next 10 games. Or I'd like to see a smaller lineup or a bigger lineup. I want to see how these 2 players play with one another, So I don't want the competition to distract my purpose in exploring the roster and all the combinations that we can look at throughout the course of a season.
Hey, Frank, over here. Trevor Booth with Clutch Points. Nice
Hi,
to meet
Trevor.
you. Now that the roster is set, what do you feel like is the defensive potential of this group, and how well do you think it can do in your scheme?
I think that we have the potential to be great on the defensive end. We certainly have to put in the work. I do think we're more offensively talented than defensively talented, but we have guys that really compete, and that are winners. And we're going to be a group that has a great scheme, a very intelligent defensive scheme that will be very, our guys will be very well prepared from game to game. So I think the ceiling is very high of what we can be on the defensive side of the ball. But our guys got to put in the work.
Hey, Frank, all the way back here behind the camera. Eliav Gabay, Sports 360 AZ, good to see you again. So you've had some great leaders on your teams, and now your 3 stars here have to take that on. What's the conversation been like with them as far as leading on the court and in the locker room?
Yeah, well, everybody leads in different ways, and I think you have to stay true to who you are. I think guys that lead by example should lead by example. I think guys that lead with their voice should lead with their voice. And, we have both of those types of leaders on our team. I also preach leadership from every chair in the room. So even a guy that may be out of the rotation, as a green light and encouragement, to speak up, in ways that will challenge his teammates, challenge our coaching staff, or to put things in the right direction. So we'll encourage that from everyone.
Frank, hi. This is Dave King with SB Nation, Brightside.
Hi, Dave.
Hi. You were talking about you've got a lot of opportunity to have a really good defense this year, but that's not their highest forte. Their best is offense. That does put, the way the roster is constructed, that does put a lot of pressure on Kevin Durant to do a lot on the back end to help on the help defense with Yusuf, Nurkic, and all that. I know you had LeBron James in recent years on the Lakers, and that was when load management was kind of a big deal in the NBA. Are you still, are you going to try to manage the physical impact on your older players this year during the regular season, do you think?
We'll be smart, in everything we do with what we're asking them to do. Both from a workload standpoint with practice, off days, games throughout the course of the year. We'll make those decisions game by game, but also with how we're using them and what we're asking them to do. I'm not going to ask Kevin Durant to play center for 42 minutes a game, and bang with bigs. We'll be intelligent with how we use them on the floor and with, the proper management of their bodies, not just their older players, but all of our players throughout the course of the season. Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, back here at the stage with the legend Tom Chambers and Suns and Mercury CEO Josh Bartelstein. You mentioned 6 months now on the job. How would you describe the last 6 months, the summer in particular? Things change daily.
I'm having the time of my life. I can't believe it's been 6 months. I remember my first day like it was yesterday, and we've done a lot. I joke with Matt. We've probably done more in 6 months than some teams do in 6 years. Some of that's timing. A new media deal, a new food and beverage deal, the trades we've made. But we're having so much fun, and we're doing it the right way. And the thing I'm most proud about is the culture we keep building. On day one, we got rid of the word employee and changed it to team member. And we want to be a people-first company that truly builds relationships. And that's what I think you'll see here and what the excitement is. As good as it is on the court, the team members who are up in that office building that move the business forward love working here.
Well, part of your TV team is that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he's ready with some questions, too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, where do I go? How do I mean, because what you say, what's happened in the 6 months has just been, incredible to see. We love seeing it. Matt keeps saying money isn't first, but you're the business guy. Money is first because you have to have money to do this. You have to be willing to spend money to do this, even though money is going to come along, which is what Matt has been saying from the get-go. How do you address that?
Yeah, I think first it's Matt's vision, right? When Matt bought this team, it was his 4 pillars. It was winning, team member experience, fan experience, and community. Making money wasn't part of it. If you do all those things the right way, the money will come. So he's going to put the best team on the court that impacts winning. That's what we've done. My job is to keep looking at ways to drive revenue, but it's not because he wants to make money. It's because when you run a business, you always want to find new strategic ways to create new products, get people in the building, and love what they're doing. But ultimately, Matt's going to do what it needs to take to win at the highest level, and I think you see that as a reflection of the team we're going to run on the court next week.
That's got to be fun to work for a guy who as you said, is willing to blow through the tax apron. And for fans at home, the tax apron is pretty darn high.
Yeah, it sure is. I have the best job ever. I love it. But there's strategy in there, obviously. But when you have an owner who cares about the right things and owns a team for the right reasons, he truly believes it's a community asset, and he takes pride in the fans. So he wants to do right by the fans. You see it in the media deal. You'll see it in the changes to the arena. That's what drives him every single day, and that's what drove him to build the team. But it makes my job great.
Does he ever have a pause when he's talking? I mean, does he like swallow or take a sip of water or
always. I joke. My wife jokes like, "You talk to Matt when you wake up every morning, when you go to sleep." She's like, "What about talking to me?" But I tell Sydney always comes first. But no, Matt, we're constantly talking. He's always got ideas on kind of how to continually make this franchise better, both Suns and Mercury.
Yeah, I like to take notes, but I couldn't write that fast. No, you definitely need your
I got my
your
notepad
phone.
out. I got it all written down.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans are wondering about the collaboration between you and James Jones from the business and basketball side. Certainly the Yusuf Nurkic addition and the trade of DeAndre Ayton. You're right in the middle of all that stuff as well, and you have that basketball background. I mean, you were a walk-on at Michigan. Your dad has been an NBA agent for years. I mean, you grew up with basketball in the NBA. Yeah.
No, that's why I have my dream job. This is the coolest thing ever for me. James has been amazing. It's one of my favorite parts about working here my first 6 months is the bond we formed. A lot of people would come in, new CEO has a basketball background as well, and have some insecurity. James has just embraced me, and he knows so much. He has a wealth of knowledge. So James and I talk every single day, from things he can help me with on the business side, the basketball stuff, to injuries, because it's a partnership. Our goal is to work together for a very long time, and I think this business is so much based on relationships. Like, who knows who, how can you get information? So we use each other to do that, and I think the team you see on the court is based on us having that really positive relationship.
How about the Valley? How do you like it here?
I love it. I love it. I mean, the weather today, people, this is the next 8 months of your life. I'm not used to that. I lived in Chicago and Detroit.
No.
Yeah, it's a little different. Everyone is so nice. Just great places to eat. I pinch myself. I wake up every morning. I can't believe that I actually live here. And I would like to be here for a very, very long time.
Yeah. So what have you seen? Because I know you bounce back and forth from here at Footprint Center to the practice facility. What have you witnessed so far from the players in their workouts? And, I mean, you have to start building that camaraderie right away, and then now training camp begins.
Yeah, the ball doesn't touch the rim much. I mean,
a lot of swishes.
Shooting in there, oh, my God. You got Brad. I was in there on Thursday watching Brad, Devin, and Kevin shoot. They were shooting together. I mean, it's just spot after spot. It's amazing to see that level of basketball player. But the depth, too, right? When you mean Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, this team is so deep, and there's so much versatility. There's so much shooting. But I think the biggest thing is how the excitement in the gym. I mean, there's truly a level of excitement that this is my 9th year in the NBA. You don't feel often. And when you match that excitement with people's heart being in the right place with the level of talent on that floor, you can do special things.
Well, you're shooting yourself in the foot, too, because you talked about the ticket demand.
Yeah.
And now after listening to you,
Let's go.
oh, man, the phones are ringing off the hook. Oh, my
Absolutely.
goodness. I know, just thinking about those guys playing together.
It's awesome.
Well, but to have those 3 guys like you just mentioned, it's like, okay, they want to find each other in the summer so they can work out. They're playing on the same team right now. And people are saying, oh, we don't have defense, we don't have depth. I say we because I'm a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just insane for me to people that think they're experts about this. Book can play defense. I mean, Kevin Durant can block shots. Bradley Beal can steal and blocks a bunch of shots. They all have long reaches. They can do so many other things, and they take so much pride in their game. I have no doubt in my life, no doubt that with Coach Vogel and what these guys do, they're going to be tough.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, part of what makes their job on defense hard typically is that they have such a load on offense, right? You can't have the ball in your hands every single possession and then play D. They don't have to do that anymore. They have all three of them. But we have an amazing coach who I said earlier is an amazing person. He is the best. But those guys can all D. They take pride in defense. We have length. We have versatility. So I'm with you. I totally agree.
All right, last question. I mean, we're here on 3TV. Arizona's family sports station.
Yes,
this is our first live broadcast. I know, and TC wants some rabbit ears. He wants the antennas.
Well,
right?
the thought I had, because I kind of think outside the box occasionally, but for the most part is do the people who are doing the .com and stuff like that even know what rabbit ears are? Do they know what an antenna is? I just thought old people like me knew what antennas were.
An antenna, but I'm
see, there you go. You're
I'm
aging yourself in a good way.
I'm going to be delivering antennas.
Well, I'm right now pushing for some rabbit ears for my house. I just think that'd be good.
I will personally bring some to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I need it. I need
And how much personal reaction have you received here in town? Again, I know you're not like the face like Devin Booker or Kevin Durant, but you're interacting with a lot of sponsors and a lot of Suns fans on a daily
People are
basis.
so excited.
Yeah.
It's all the small things. Like you hear about Brad, Devin, Kevin. It's also the media deal, being able to watch our game. It's also things with OVG. I look at the entire spectrum of things we've done, and people start seeing that stack on top of each other, and they say, wow, it's a little different now. And that's what we want to keep doing is innovate, not just fall into the group think that is pro sports, and make this an amazing place to work, to be a fan, to play across the board.
All right. Well, we got your partner in crime over there, James Jones.
He's a good one to talk to,
Great
too.
stuff, Josh.
Pleasure. Thanks for
Appreciate the
having
time.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have
Good
a
to
great
know
one,
you.
guys.
Get used to us in these requests. You're going to be on here quite a bit. Yeah, that's part of the gig.
I love it.
Yeah. Josh Bartelstein, CEO of the Suns and the Mercury here on Media Day. We're going to also hear from, of course, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. They'll be at the podium in just a matter of moments. And if we are interviewing, one of our special guests, we will play back those press conferences with the Suns players as they get set for training camp, which begins tomorrow. And the first preseason game will be Sunday in Detroit against the Pistons and their new head coach, Monty Williams. And by the way, 3TV, Arizona Family Sports, will be broadcasting all 5 preseason games. That's unprecedented. Normally we might do 1 or 2, but we will be broadcasting live all 5 preseason games, including the finale in Palm Springs against the Lakers, and also on that preseason schedule, Tom Chambers. Interestingly enough, not only Monty Williams in Detroit in the first preseason game, but I do believe Portland is on tap as well. So,
but I'll tell you,
first chance. Yeah,
it's the only complaint I have about Matt Ishbia.
Uh-oh, you have a complaint?
Yeah,
and you're going to air it publicly.
I have a complaint. He's
James
killing my mountain time. That first 2 weeks of October is typically TC's, get it all out of his system and, chase a bear around and stuff like that. And now I gotta come hang out with you guys again,
Come on, do it.
Yeah.
Come and get it.
All about work ethic around here, James Jones.
Just don't stop.
Yeah, and it don't stop for you either.
No.
I mean, again, I want to start with the most recent transaction in Portland, and you were asked about it too. I mean, it's never easy to let go of somebody like a DeAndre Ayton who started his career here, but I think there's this prevailing opinion by many that Jusuf Nurkic is just such a great fit for this team. Not that DA would not have been, but tell us the thought process and targeting a player like Nurkic. Not only, do you get him, you get Nasir Little, who has all sorts of talent, Grayson Allen, Keon Johnson, but Nurkic's fit.
Oh, I mean, listen, it's clear when you watch him play. Nurk's a really good player, and I just liked his chemistry with our guards. Right? It's can your big guy be a pressure release valve for your guards? Like, we're going to have 2 on those guys at all times. Can he make the right read? Can he roll to the basket and will he score? Will he make the right pass? But understanding that he's a big, like, we need him in the paint. We need him at the rim, right? We need him to be big, and we need him to get primarily the rest of our guys open, and he's demonstrated the ability to do both. If you need him to just be a guy that gets his guys open and facilitate, he does it. If you need him to punish the switch, he does it. But more importantly, he doesn't complain, and he embraces it. And so we're looking forward to him being with our guys, and I know that they respect the heck out of him, and that's the biggest thing that you need when you're talking about that 2-man game.
You know what I like about him? He ain't scared. Have you seen his father?
Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah, he ain't scared. You know, you talk about those Jokic brothers. This guy's got the Nurkic father.
Oh no!
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But you see him play. He doesn't back down from anything. He's got his face right in the middle of everything. And to have a guy right there that's going to be standing in front of the rim, people are going to be like, "Do I really want to go in there against this man?" Because he's a man inside.
Yeah, no, and he loves that part of it.
Yeah,
he loves the paint, and that's what's going to make us different. He's going to make us different. And then you talked about it. You touched on it. Nasir, Keon, and Grayson Allen. Those are NBA rotation guys, and you can't have too many of those. And I was just telling someone earlier, like, since I've been here, I've been chasing the training camp that has 15 guys that can go after it, right? And knowing coming out of this training camp, some guys are going to be on the outside looking in, but they have the talent to get back into the mix, and that's what you want to have as a team.
Well, that's what I mean. You say 15. You've got 18, and the guys that, like you say, that aren't going to make it here, may have to be somewhere else, are all legitimate NBA guys. If people say this team isn't deep, you're going to have to deal with, because you got 3 extra guys that can still play in this league. You know?
You can never have enough depth, right? And we know this season is a gauntlet. You're going to play a lot of games. We hope to play a lot of games in the playoffs as well. But in between that, we need to have a lot of high-level practices and scrimmages, and that's what this team is built for. You don't get better in games. You show them how much you've improved in games. And so, like, to think that we're going to be able to go out there and just turn it on, flip a switch, and say, hey, use the games as practice, is foolish. Like, it takes more than that.
Yeah, Matt was talking about building around the big three, and obviously that's always going to be the topic, especially today on Media Day. But you've been kind of the Picasso of putting together a roster, constructing a roster that makes sense, and building at least 3 deep at every position. 13 new players arrive at training camp, 13 new Suns. When you look at the list of role guys, I'll call them. I mean, again, you got Eric Gordon, you got Yuta Watanabe, and I know you don't want to pick favorites, but are there a couple of players that, even watching them work out over the last couple of weeks at the practice facility, you're like, I can see that young man receiving a lot of playing time?
I don't, because we evaluated and watched them throughout the course of the season, and we brought them here because of what we saw in games in season. The summer is great. Like, everyone looks like a star in the summer. It's only when they bump up against each other do you realize if those improvements that they made in the summer will stick. And so that's why I say I'm more focused on making sure that we have competition at every position. And then those guys will determine who we like. Like, we'll see it in training camp. We'll see it in the preseason. And then it'll be reflected in games. And at that point in time, I'll be like, hey, you know what? I think player X is really surprising me. Because to the point about us having 13 new Suns, we're not asking these guys to come in and be something different. We're asking them to come in and continue to be NBA players that were effective. And if they do that, I think we're in a good spot.
How did you sign 6 players in 5 minutes?
Man,
seriously. Seriously, I was like, I couldn't keep track of it. I had a pretty good signal on.
Well, I think if you look at the rest of the league, that's what free agency is like across the league, right? Because players know, especially those that are looking for winning situations, those things move quickly. So it's one of those things where, like, it continues to get faster and faster, but you just have to attack. Like, you target people that you want, you tell them that you want them, and you give them timelines and say, hey, I need you to give me a heads up. And more importantly, if they're about what they're saying, like, they'll respond, they'll react. Like, if they really want to be here, they'll tell you I want to be here, and they'll come out swinging.
Well, you've given them a lot of reasons to be here too.
You also have Trevor and Ryan too to help make some of these calls.
Ryan,
Set them up. All right,
Morgan,
James, I got so on the line.
Yeah,
all right, let's get this thing done.
And the reality is, there's only, like, you're talking about limited numbers of opportunities, and the opportunity to win a title or compete for a title is enticing, and guys are, they're locked in, and they're coming our way.
All right, last one. I think we have Frank Vogel ready, but I've got to ask you, because my sons are telling me, my 2 sons, not S-U-N-S, S-O-N-S, they're so excited about Bol, and so many fans are out there.
That's my guy, man.
I know. What do you expect from him? What should fans expect from him on this team? He's kind of the mystery man.
We'll see.
He's
intriguing, and it's intriguing for us to see how he'll respond around this group. I don't think he's ever been around a group like this.
No.
And usually talented players find a way to stand out. So that's the hope with him.
Sorry, we were at the beach
Well,
in California, and my two boys started hugging. We got Bol Bol.
Well, I think your
We have
fantasy
Bradley
your
Beal.
fantasy team is going to change names this year. And
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
be your first pick,
Yes.
probably.
Well, no, not mine. It'll be one of the boys. Hey,
That's
great
awesome.
to see
Thanks,
you.
guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for having
Thanks,
me, man.
James. I
Good to see
appreciate
you.
it.
Welcome back to the season.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding. I know. We had so much to talk about. We couldn't even talk about his summer. And I think Costa Rica.
I don't know if he- I don't know if he had one. He had like a
he said
week
he
to
went
get away?
Costa Rica, I think, for a little bit. But,
Okay.
yeah, so
So much.
Media Day rolls on.
So much.
We had Josh Bartelstein, James Jones, and now we'll be joined by the head coach, Frank Vogel, who's had quite the experience over this past summer. His roster has been changing from day to day, so he's designing plays and designing defenses with DeAndre Ayton in mind, and then right before training camp, the bombshell in the trade with Portland. But first, as we're joined now by Frank Vogel, first-year head coach of the Suns, have you and your family settled into Phoenix? Have you been able to take a deep breath?
We have, yeah. We're settled in, really enjoying it, and you know, I love the people here. The people have been great. The organization has been great. So, feeling very settled and ready to get going.
You're a people person. I can see that. Like when anybody asks you a question, you have your answer and you state their name first. I mean, I just love
when I
like,
can.
You're definitely a people person. Is that how you would describe your personality?
Oh,
Have you
for
always
sure.
Been that way?
Yeah, a lot of people don't like people. I like people. I
hope you like this guy.
I like
Just,
engaging
you know,
with you know, people. You know, this guy's a legend. Are you kidding? Grew up rooting for this guy.
He says that all the time. You know what? You've been like a head coach in the league for like 20 years, and you're like 35 years old. So I mean, like, you haven't aged since your first day in the league. I mean, seriously, you know, you would think there'd be a few gray hairs and stuff like that.
Thank you for
know?
that.
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, I showed him my knees.
Oh,
my knees. You know, my knees hurt more than they did when I first started head coaching, and my back sometimes. And yeah, I pull muscles. You know, when I cross the street and everything. So I'm definitely getting up there.
I'll tell you what, you've been with obviously some stars. You were with the Lakers. You helped, them win that championship. But now you have a group of stars here. I mean, what is it? What's the difference between coaching a guy like Kevin Durant and Booker and Beal versus, just guys, you've had a bunch of blue collar workers play for you as well.
For sure. Well, everybody's different. Everybody has different places in the food chain. But I also have different personalities. One best player on this team may have a completely different personality than their best player on a different team. So again, it goes back to the people piece of this. Or how are you going to connect with a certain player? Is you have to understand the person. And where they are at in the food chain, so to speak, in the hierarchy of that group, and you coach them accordingly.
Have you ever had a nickname? Because we could give you one right away, because that term has been used over and over since your opening press conference, Scrappy.
Yes.
Scrappy. Has that always been something that you've professed to your teams, or is it just coming here to Phoenix where this group of guys is going to be scrappy?
No, I've always demanded it, quite frankly, from our group. When you're under-talented, you have to be scrappy to survive. But if you can get a group of talented individuals to play scrappy, then you have a chance to win it all. And I feel like my teams have been different levels of talent throughout my career. The Indiana team was very young, but we played with a scrappy mindset and a chip on our shoulder. And we were able to push the envelope and reach a level where we were considered championship contenders. But then you take a team like the Lakers, who had championship level talent, and you get that group to play with that type of edge and chip on their shoulder and scrappy mindset, and we were able to win a championship. So, that's what I'm going to command of my group here. It's going to be a mindset that we're going to play with an attitude out there, and we're going to out-hustle and outwork our opponent every night. Because if the talent that we have on this current roster plays that way, we got a great chance.
We're going to have a new segment on the show this year. Quite frankly.
Okay.
Quite frankly. I mean, seriously, you've said it a few times, and I'm like, it's like me saying quite Tomly. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It's a little bit different there. So we're quite frankly.
Sponsored by a hot dog company.
A little better.
Yeah, sponsored by a hot dog company, I think.
We're gonna absolutely do that.
My dad's got a hot dog stand in Wildwood called Frank's Pranks.
Oh,
so,
what?
Yeah, there we go.
See?
Yes.
Frank's
Yeah.
Pranks.
Jersey Shore.
That is awesome.
Breaking news.
So when you came in here and you interviewed for this job, I mean, were you thinking, oh, please, oh, please. This is just I mean, the Valley, the team, the quality of the human beings, new owner. I mean, were you kind of a little bit giddy over this opportunity?
Absolutely. You know, it was, obviously there was a few other jobs open out there, and, any job, we're all humbled to get these. There's only 30 in the world, NBA head coaching jobs, but some are better than others, for sure. And this was definitely one that was very, very appealing to me for all of the reasons that you just said. A great city, a destination city. The current talent that we had on the roster. The new owner, Matt Ishbia, was a major plus for me in terms of me wanting to be here. Because of his work ethic, his energy, and
you have to smile when
willing
you're
to blow through the tax apron,
and obviously his willingness to spend.
Yes.
Is something that is always a factor. But it's more than that with Matt, right? Like we've all felt his energy, and his desire, and his intent is always pure. To do whatever he can do. For us to be in the best position to win a championship or multiple championships, and that was all part of me wanting to be here.
All right, Devin Booker is going to be heading to the podium here soon, and actually might be joining us as well. But let's talk about training camp real quick.
Sure.
Actually,
what's
let's say
happening?
to the legend and his head coach. The intensity of training camp, real quick as he gets started.
Yep.
You do have veterans, so do you have to balance that, the intensity versus holding back a little bit to find that scrappiness?
Somewhat. You want to be smart in everything you do, but we're going to work.
Yeah.
And we got to work hard to get this group to be cohesive.
All right. Great talking to you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much for the time. And we will join now Devin Booker up at the podium.
Curious with you in terms of Matt Ishbia just came up and said that you guys have the best team in the league. What's it mean to have an owner have that kind of confidence going into a season?
I mean, it means a lot. I mean, he's a player first, so he understands the game. He's been around the game. He has championship pedigree, and, back in the great state of Michigan, we have some we have some connection there.
Chris being traded, and obviously DeAndre, you played with them, got to a finals with them, built relationships with them. What's it like knowing that you won't have those guys, but on the other side, getting a Bradley, getting a Nurkic on that end?
Yeah, man, I don't even like to, say that in the same sentence because, not only those guys, even before that, Mikal and Cam, everybody that was a part of, historic part of this franchise. Trades are the hardest part of this business, because I know me personally, I'm so invested, but, just understanding that, people might be in a better situation. I seen DeAndre get to Portland. He had a big smile on his face, and, even when we shook hands before he walked out after the trade, you could tell his energy was, a new opportunity, new momentum. So that's all you can ask, is that they're in a better situation, they continue to flourish and get better. But yeah, like I said, the hardest part of the business is that. But those guys have done things for this organization, and that will never be forgotten.
Lastly, was curious in terms of James was here, and I asked him about you being a playmaker, having the ball more, and he said, "Well, Devin's not going to complain about having the ball more." So my follow to that is, how are you feeling about being in that role of you've done it before, but it may be on a bigger scale with this group?
I just go out there and play basketball, man. Take the best available shot, and understanding the artillery that we have with us. So all these guys make the game easier for me, and I understand that. So we all have to be aggressive at the same time. So finding that balance, and I'm sure we'll pick up on it quick once we get in training camp and start bumping a little bit.
Book, Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. Good to see you all. Echo the congratulations on the shoes. Very cool deal for you, man.
Thank you.
You and Kevin, I'm sure as soon as the season ended, were chomping at the bit to get after it. You've been seen spending a lot of time with him this summer. Just how much have you two been in dialogue and just talking about whether it was the Bradley deal, this deal, the shape you see the team in, and just how eager you guys are to make up for the way the last season ended?
I'm just excited to see our relationship continue to grow. As everybody knows in here, I was a fan first, and I've always looked up to KD, and to be here firsthand now and get to spend time and grow that relationship is, it's a full circle moment in life, and we have a great deal of respect for each other, and we continue to push each other. I know he's always in the gym. He doesn't take a rep off. He doesn't take a day off. So those are the type of people I like to be surrounded with, and we have the same interests. So off the court is always a good time.
Hey, Devin, David Brandt from the AP. You're kind of a veteran now, and there's been a big debate in the league about rest versus injuries and different things like that. What do you think about sitting out games for rest, or if that's needed, or just that whole trend?
It's a conversation that's been, talked about for years. I don't really look into it that much. Guys deal with different things. Guys deal with different injuries, and who am I to tell them to play if you're 60% and end up going out there and do something worse to yourself and, jeopardize a contract or that such. So it all just depends on everybody's situation, and that changes person to person. So, me personally, I want to play every game that I'm healthy.
Well, and just one short thing, I know the answer to this probably, but if you could play in Paris this coming summer, would you want to?
I'll do it.
Hey, Book, Gerald Bourguet, PHNX over here down in front. Congrats on the shoe.
Appreciate it.
I'm just curious because you're the only son that's left from the finals team 2 years ago. You've played on a lot of different rosters with a lot of different teammates. How exciting is it to add a guy like Bradley Beal and start the process of getting to know all of the other new guys that are coming in?
It's really fun. Brad's somebody I've had a great deal of respect for a very long time through competition, and me first coming into the league in 2015 and him being one of the best, if not the best, two guard. It was always competition. I always kept up with his games, even though he was in the Eastern Conference. If I didn't watch one of their games, I was checking his box score. So, he's somebody that I've watched closely for a really long time, and I don't take it for granted that I get the chance to hop in workouts and compete against each other in practice, and all of us get better at the same time.
Book right here, Doug Haller with The Athletic. After last year's playoff exit, there were a lot of variables there. Not having a lot of time with Kevin. Chris Paul got hurt. DeAndre got hurt. After you guys were eliminated, did you go into the offseason thinking that you guys needed to make major roster changes to take the next step?
I think you can't disregard, how well the Denver Nuggets played either. Even everything that we dealt with, you could say the time spent together, like the Nuggets played their ass off through the whole playoff. So, they're the front runners right now. So everybody else has to try to catch them and knock them off the throne. But, I'm excited to obviously have the team at the start of training camp and get acquainted with the guys and, get everything situated.
Hey, Devin, over here, Jordan Spurgeon, Sports 360 AZ. When Bradley Beal was introduced, he talked about how hot it is in the Valley and that he knew that you go up north to Flagstaff a lot. Did you guys get a chance to take a trip together or anything along those means? He was looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
You
Waiting
telling
on
him
the
it's
fall.
better?
We're waiting on the leaves to turn over. Yeah.
So really get down the low 50s, 40s,
That's
away
what I'm
from
looking
the 80s.
for.
Okay.
Fresh air.
D-Book, Michael Euro, Yahoo Sports. Kentucky just reloaded with freshmen Rob Dillingham and DJ Wagner. What do you think about them and what they can do this season?
Them guys are go-getters. Shout out Tyler Eulis, too, one of my close friends. He's on staff with Coach Cal right now, so he keeps me updated with everything that's going on in Lexington, and those are the two names that he's super excited for. And I worked out with Dillingham, me and Chris did, because he played for CP3 for a minute, and I've known Little Wagner since he was a kid. I've been hearing about him. So, I'm excited to see where their careers go. Hopefully they can bring a championship to Lexington, and, I'll be watching those guys closely the rest of their careers.
Devin, Richard Sines here, Fox 10. Good to see you. When Bradley Beal, signed with you guys, got traded with you guys, he talked about playing meaningful games, here, playing for a team that's going to be in the mix. There were times where, you were on a team that wasn't in the mix, and now you are. How can you relate to what he's going through and the excitement he must be feeling to be here with you guys?
Situation's a little different because I think they had early success. I think they went to the Eastern Conference Finals when it was him and John. And, to have that, taste of playoff basketball and then it be taken away would probably be a much more hurt than what I had to go through. I came into a rebuilding franchise and I was a young player that, I got opportunity. And, I wouldn't trade that for anything as you're a young player. I was just thrown into the fire to figure it out. And now we're at the point where, it's time to win. And that's all that matters. So I can only imagine how he felt from getting that experience and then begin the rebuild phase. Like, I know he didn't sit well with him.
Book, this is Dave King with SB Nation, Brightside. You're going to be handling the ball a lot this year. There's not a true point guard on the team. I know you're going to share the work with Kevin and Brad, but you've had the ball handling duties at different times in your career, and it can be really, a burden physically for a full game being the point guard. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about how, you're going to be able to deal with that extra pressure?
Not really. Like I said, I just go out there and take what the defense gives me. Not at one point of a game do I ever feel tired or feel like there's a workload. Usually the next day maybe, but it's just hoop, and I have a lot of help around me to take a lot of pressure off. And I've been in different situations before where there was a lot more. There was a lot more on my shoulders.
Greg Moore, Arizona Republic, right next to Dave. What's up, Book?
What up?
Nothing much, man. What's it feel like, man, that you've kind of arrived now, right? Like, you haven't won the championship, right? Yeah, we know, but you're not an up-and-comer anymore. You're not somebody who's next anymore. It's your time now. What does that feel like to be at that stage of your career?
I felt like I've been there, honestly, since '96. That's when I arrived. Yeah.
We'll do two more.
Book, Luke Lidden here with 12 Sports, right here. I'm curious, how was your off season? What was your favorite part of the off season? And at what point mentally do you switch that gear to get back in the flow of preparing for a season and getting into that mindset?
Always preparing for it, always thinking about it, but I did get some time away. I love to travel. I love to experience new things and new cultures. That's how I feel like I continue to learn. So spent some time in Europe, and that's always a great time. But, the shifting in the mind never really changes. It's always hoops for me. And even when I'm on those vacations, I'll look around and be like, I got to keep hooping if I want to live this lifestyle. So definitely a way to get inspired. It's traveling and experiencing new things for me, but yeah, I'm always locked in.
Devin, this is Dana Scott from Arizona Republic. How you doing?
Good, how you feeling?
Good, man. Just wondering, last year you played a lot of minutes in the playoffs with Kevin, and you had to handle a lot of scoring load. Of course, we have Brad now. How confident do you feel with having that load a little bit taken off and pressure, including with this new bench that you guys got?
Yeah, I'm ready to get to it. And I think that's the common theme through everybody. Top to bottom, we're ready to get after it. We know how much talent we have, and we know it's not going to be easy at the same time. So, just hold each other accountable, keep competing at a high level, and I think it's a domino effect from everybody. Once you see KD or Brad getting after every day in practice, it just, how am I going to be the one not to? And I think everybody feels that same way.
Thank you, Devin.
Appreciate it.
Devin Booker at the podium, and we are going to be joined by Suns and Mercury Governor Matt Ishbia. It's been a full day already here in downtown Phoenix with the legend Tom Chambers And like I mentioned, Suns and Mercury Governor Matt Ishbia taking a seat with us as we are here on 3TV and Arizona Family Sports, a new TV deal. Welcome to your new television station, Matt Ishbia. I mean, this is the antennas are out. They're being used. I'm being told they're being used also in Prescott. Our executive director of broadcast, his wife is watching from Prescott with one of the antennas. I mean, it's just a genius move.
It's awesome. We're excited. You know, it's the fans' team, so they got to be able to watch all the games, be able to see media day, everything. You guys are doing a great job. We're glad to have you guys with us, and excited for the fans, excited for the season. And you know, you can't have a team that everyone loves. They can't watch them. So we're solving that together, and we're excited.
Do you ever get tired?
No, I love it. I mean, I got the best job in the world. I get to come out here, be part of this with you guys. I mean, this is my dream. I'm a Tom Chamberlain. I mean, come on, I grew up watching you guys, and so you can't beat this. And so I wake up, no coffee. I'm just drinking water, enjoying it. But when you love what you do, I have passion for it. I care. I got a lot of great people around me, and I'm having a blast.
But this is just a fraction of it. I know this is the fun stuff for you right here, but you got, what, 7,000 other people, you know, with that other small company you have going here in the country. I mean, flying back and forth and all this stuff, it just seems like, let me just say this. Energy is a word they use for you. We need to come up with a new word because energy is not enough with what you have. I mean, we got to come up with some new word because energy doesn't cut it.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I love what I do. I'm in Michigan a lot of times. I got a great mortgage company, UWM. We spend time there. I love it. I got my kids. I spend time with my kids, and then I'm here. I mean, and I try to get all those things to overlap as much as possible. We'll get the first preseason game in Detroit, so my kids will be there, and all things collide at that point. But I'm just love what I do, and when you love what you do, you have a lot of passion and energy for it, and so it just comes naturally for me, and I'm very blessed.
He knows I'd be in a full sweat if I was this interview.
Yeah, I know.
I would be like drenched. I have to.
And you're up early. What do you get up like 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it's.
I'm an early riser. Once again, I no alarm. I wake up. I'm excited. I mean, this is a great way to live. Great thing to be part of. And I did this when it was not basketball, when it was mortgage. And so being part of mortgage for so many years and be part of what we've done at UWM and then now doing out here at Phoenix Suns and Mercury, I can't be more excited than I am.
And you're probably the first guy to the gym as a walk-on at Michigan State too. So this started way back, but.
I had to be the first guy there for them not to throw me out. I was barely good enough to be on the team.
The next thing you know, you're sitting next to Tom Izzo and giving him advice and being kind of an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Aside from the TV deal, what are you most proud of that's been accomplished this past offseason?
Well, I think the thing was the team. You know, we put together a great team, a great group of guys that are like-minded, that want to go win a championship. And we put, James Jones and Josh Bartelstein, these guys did great. And, of course, Frank Vogel, the coach. But we put this team together. So I'm super excited about that. But I'm also really excited about, like I said, the TV deal, the fan experience. You're going to see different things when people come to the games, just different and better. And we're really excited about all these things. But I think the team, and I hope the fans are excited to see this team play together because, honestly, I think they're going to be great. I think they'll be great. The chemistry is great. The teamwork's going to be great. And I'm just I'm a fan too. I'm going to watch it with you guys.
You are the ultimate decision maker. I mean, James and Josh have said that. And with your basketball background, I mean, when you sit in on those meetings and when you consult them, and even, I'm sure, talking with some of the players, with Book and Kevin Durant, how does your basketball knowledge and background come into play?
Well, at the end of the day, it's a team, right? We're a team. Yes, I'm the owner of whatever. I make the final. But James and Josh and Frank, and then, of course, Kevin, Devin, Brad, we talk to everybody all the time. And so we're a team. I want to communicate and collaborate with everybody. And at the end of the day, someone's got to make a decision. But my basketball background, I can talk basketball. I joked, I'm not a silent investor that doesn't know what I'm talking. Like, I know basketball. I'm a leader. I don't know basketball as well as those guys, so that's why I take most of their opinions. And then we work as a team. And you know what? Things aren't always going to go perfect. Well, I'll make a bad decision. James will make a bad decision. Josh, Frank. I mean, everyone makes bad decisions. However, I'm very confident that we know all the answers, all the things that we should think about to make the best decision. And I feel really good about where we're at right now.
So when people say this team hasn't been deep, this team doesn't have this team, is not picked to win it, I kind of laugh because I'm like, do you guys morons? I mean, you look at the depth, even talking to James, you have 3 players that'll be on another roster that won't be on this roster just because you've got too many guys that can play the game of basketball. So when you look at this roster and you look at the talent of this team, I mean.
Yeah, I think I'm like you. I look at it and say, hey, listen, obviously there's a team that won a championship last year, so we got to go take down the champs. But if you were me, what team would you trade ours for? I wouldn't trade it for anybody, not even close. 1 through 15, all the way through. We got 3 superstars, but we got so many other players that people don't even recognize. Nurkic is going to be great. You're going to see how great he fits in with the team. But of course, you got Eric Gordon, you got Keita Bates. I mean, I can go through all the naming. Okogie coming back, he's a great. We got a great group. Grayson Allen's going to be a competitor out there. We got a great team, 1 through 15. We got some upside with some young guys that can develop. We got some veterans. I mean, I wouldn't trade our team for anybody. I love it.
Well, who would know Jokic better than Nurkic? I'm thinking that could probably be a pretty
teammates in Denver together.
Well, but to guard him, to try and slow him. I know he's the guy in the league right now, but Nurkic, I mean, he's going to be good there.
Yeah, Nurkic is going to fit in well. He's a great fit for our organization. Our team's excited to have him, and I'm excited to have him. And I think the fans are going to love him. And yeah, we got to beat Denver, right? Yes. We got to beat a lot of teams though, right? We got to be the best team in the league, and we're trying to get better every day. And I think there's no question that we're a better team today than we were when we lost in Game 6. And with that being said, I'm happy with where we're at. Now, can we get better? Can we win a championship? Can we win the NBA Cup? Can we do it? We're going to try. That's what we're going to try to do every day.
Matt, thank you so much. He's smiling because of the newly imagined Ring of Honor that's going on over there.
This guy's a legend.
Exactly.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Newly reimagined, but just hanging from the rafters. That's exactly what
and
it should
being
be.
joined by Amari and Sean Marion
Yes,
this season.
yes.
We'll talk about that at a later date.
Awesome. Thanks,
Always
guys.
great to visit.
Appreciate you.
Sir.
Appreciate you.
All right, coming up next at the podium, Kevin Durant here on Phoenix Suns 2023 Media Day.
All right, we'll now take questions for Kevin Durant. Get going.
Kevin, obviously, over here, Kevin, sorry. Dwayne Reagan, Arizona Republic.
I recognize you without the
without the mask. Right. I was wearing it like a
Welcome
helmet,
back,
right?
brother.
Thank you, sir. I want to first ask you about a training camp. Like, this is obviously you came with the team and it was during the season. How big is the training camp for you and what things do you usually gain from a training camp that helps you throughout the course of a season?
Training is always important. Becoming a great athlete, I think as much as you can train, the better you'll be, the more preparation you have, the better you'll be when the games come around. And it's just a certain feeling around this time of like just development and building and chemistry. All that stuff matters around this time earlier in the season like this. So it's good to have an opportunity to go through that with these guys.
Curious when you see all the trades that are made with Dame being the latest one, and obviously you guys made a trade with DeAndre. Is this more than norm throughout your career where it be this late before the start of a season with these major trades?
This is absolutely normal. It's the NBA. I mean, it's been happening for years on years on years. So, yeah, it's pretty normal to me.
Lastly, when you just look at the roster itself and Evan Bradley, and is Bradley someone that you've thought about playing with? Because obviously with him being in D.C. and you probably maybe kept an eye on him a little bit or no?
Yeah, you always keep an eye on everybody. I wouldn't necessarily say if somebody I was thinking about playing with, but always been a fan of Brad. He played in my hometown with the Wizards his whole career, so followed his career and knew how great he was as a player. And whenever you get the opportunity to play with somebody like that, you just get excited, because we're going to sharpen each other every day. You get to be around a bright basketball mind like that. That's only going to make me better as a player.
Kevin, Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. Good to see you again. To start off with the important stuff, Commanders got to go for 2 yesterday, right?
They got to. But more importantly, we beat the Cardinals this year.
I didn't realize I set myself up there. I thought I was doing that, and then you turned it right back on me.
Somebody else asked me about my Commanders back there, and he was an Arizona fan. I had to let him know, too.
That's my team. Come on, man. I've told you this. Okay. To talk about basketball again, you and Book spent a lot of time together over the summer. You guys are kindred spirits in a way where I'm sure the way you guys approach basketball, he was there right away. But how was it to build up that bond with him over the summer?
Well, it's great to spend time with your teammates. Book is somebody that I really admire and I love being around, not just on the basketball court, but just off the court as well. So it was good to build, as teammates. We've been around and hung around each other before as opponents, but to hang with each other as teammates was a different feeling. So I'm looking forward to continue to build with Book on and off the floor as we go through this journey together.
Hey, Kevin, Joe Bourget, good to see you. When you look at yourself, Book, and Bradley Beal, three guys that can put the ball in the hole but can also play on or off the ball, how exciting is that as someone who is one of the most versatile players in the game to be able to be surrounded by guys that can kind of do that same thing?
Yeah, being around talent is what this game is always about. Putting yourself in position to be around the best of the best coaches, players. I think that's it's important for my development as a player to constantly be around greats, and these guys portrayed that in this league for a long time. So guys that can do multiple things with the basketball, without the basketball on both ends of the floor is only going to make me better as a player. So. And it starts in practice. Those guys have a high standard for themselves in practice along with myself. So we just got to look forward. I'm looking forward to maintaining that level every single day. I know it's hard, but I'm looking forward to the journey of doing it.
Hey, Kevin. David Brandt from the AP. You're a guy who's obviously had a couple of major injuries throughout your career. What do you think of the NBA cracking down on players resting during the season, different things like that? Where do you stand in that whole debate?
The NBA going to do what they're going to do. They're going to implement rules they want to implement. It's on us to just abide by them, to be honest. I'm sure guys are going, like I said, I guess we just got to abide by it, to be honest. It is what it is.
Speaking of the wear and tear of basketball on your body, the Olympics next summer, would you be interested in being on the U.S. team if they asked you?
I will play in the Olympics next year.
Hey, Kevin. Luis Torres, nice kicks over here. Obviously, you're on your 16th signature shoe. Devin Booker's on his first. What were kind of your initial reactions of seeing the Nike Book 1 for the first time?
Just happy for Book. That's a huge, huge accomplishment. Nike's you can say, rival with Apple is the biggest company in the world, So to be a signature athlete at one of the biggest companies in the world means a lot. So I'm happy for Book. It's always been a lifelong dream of every player that had their own shoe. So I'm happy for him, and it's just the start of a brand that's just going to continue to blossom from here. He's so creative and so innovative that it's just only the start for him. So I'm looking forward to the next iteration of Books as well.
Kevin, Doug Howler with The Athletic right here. In your experience, you were talking about roster turnover being the norm in the NBA. How long does it take to kind of build chemistry once you guys start camp and enter the season?
I don't want to put a number or a date or a time period on it. It just kind of naturally happens. Either it happens or it doesn't, And I think when you got guys who want to win, a coaching staff who loves to teach the game of basketball, it'll happen organically. When it happens, I'm sure we'll all just feel it. Everybody who's following the Suns will just understand what that is. But I can't put like a timetable on it.
Hey, Kevin, all the way in the back at the cameras. Eliav Gabay, Sports 360 AZ. We spoke with Coach Vogel about it a little bit, but what have conversations been like with him as far as you and the other stars handling that leadership on the court and in the locker room, if there has been a conversation?
We don't rarely talk about leadership because, when you got guys that work hard and be there, provide their best every single day, that just rubs off on everybody else. So it's not a conversation you got to have about of appointing us as captains or leaders. It just happens by just the work ethic we put in and the love that we have for the game every single day. That'll shine brighter than us talking about anything.
Hey, Kevin, it's Dana Scott from Arizona Republic. I'm wondering about how you feel with this new team. So many guys are playing together for the first time, but you have some familiarity with Utah coming over. How important is that, and how do you feel it impact the team?
It's good to be familiar with the guys in the league. Regardless of me, you to play together, I knew who he was. I know what he brings to the table, as along with all of my other teammates now, just from playing against them and following the game. It's always going to be about the reps you get in with one another on the floor. That's going to be the most important telltale sign of who we are as a group, and that usually takes a while to kind of see what everybody's roles is. So, but I'm looking forward to the journey.
In the back, Kevin, Jay Russell of Burn City Sports back here. Wanted to ask you guys have to deal with some big bigs in the West, talking about Jokic, Sabonis with the Kings, Anthony Davis with the Lakers. After the trade, you guys have some pretty good bigs now. How do you think defensively you guys are going to do? And then with you being a power forward, are you going to be good with doing a lot of help defensive stuff as well? Because it's really tough out there.
Yeah, I mean, the bigs you named, I don't think anybody can stop those guys, no matter who you bring on your team. So I mean, those type of guys provide such a tough problem for every team in the league. And my job is to do whatever is required. Whatever coach needs me to do, I'll do.
Kevin, Shane Neal in Ford Sports. Just curious, 15 years in, being one of the best scorers ever.
16.
16 with the injury, you're correct. What does a player with your stature look to improve on or add in the offseason training, if anything?
Well, it's about maintaining. I always want to just continue to maintain what I have and just play as much as I can, to be honest. As you get older, it's just all about just getting as many reps in as you can. I mean, new philosophies on the game, I'll learn those throughout, as I play. And if I want to add a couple new moves, I just try to maintain the fundamentals, and then I could build on everything from there.
Take 3 more for Kevin.
Kevin, Brandon Brown from the Phoenix Business Journal. You've been in the Valley for a little bit now, and you're also known as one of the more savvy businessmen within the NBA, doing deals and stuff off the court. In the Phoenix area, have you been, been approached? Have you been looking into any type of businesses? And then maybe within your teammates, you have a lot of new teammates. Are you guys talking about business deals? What maybe advice do you have for some of the younger players?
I wouldn't say I've started anything here in Phoenix yet, but who knows what'll happen in the future. And I think there's always a conversation amongst the locker room and on what guys are doing off the floor. And I think that's what brings us together as a team as well. So, we all ask each other questions on what we got going on at the moment. And so just hearing everybody's perspectives on what their lives is like, their brands are like off the floor is always fun, So guys are doing some cool things in the league nowadays. And, there's definitely opportunities for all of us to work together in that space.
Kevin, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic, to your left. What can you tell your teammates about what it's going to be like to be on a super team, right? You've done this before where teams haven't gotten a lot of attention in your career and then teams that have gotten a lot of attention in your career. I think this Phoenix roster is going to be more scrutinized than we're used to around here. What can you tell your teammates about what that's going to be like?
Well, the expectations people put on us really don't mean anything unless we, it don't mean nothing unless we put the work in every single day. That's the most important thing. The people in that building who are consistently in that building with us every day are the voices that we should listen to. I mean, obviously, it's hard to get away from the opinions of everybody and how they feel about our team. But at the end of the day, when you realize that the guys that you're going to war with every day are the people that you see every day, and you tend to focus on them, and everything is pretty smooth from there. So expectations are going to be, coming from everybody, but it is what it is. That's a part of the business. As much as you can focus on who's in the building, the better for us.
Dave, last one.
Kevin, over here, Dave King with SB Nation, Brightside. I know you touched on this a couple of times, but specifically to the 65-game rule to make it all NBA or MVP consideration or all defense consideration. Guys in your position who are, like you said, you want to get every rep you can, but it's a tough game. It's a tough business. Is there a worry about your legacies at stake here with the not being able to be on consideration for those awards?
I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but short answer would be no. I think guys are just focused on every day, trying to be there every single day, and whatever happens, happens. Some unfortunate things happen throughout a season where you might not be able to play because of injury, but you tend to just focus on each and every day, and your legacy is what it is. What is legacy, to be honest? What is the opinions from all you guys on what you say about our careers after it's done, or the accolades that we accumulate? I mean, if you plan for just that reason, then, so I think guys are just going to focus on day to day and see what happens.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin Durant, who just turned 35 years of age, will be embracing his first Phoenix Suns training camp, which sets off tomorrow. 13 new guys on his team that were not on the Suns squad at the end of last year. He's got a new head coach in Frank Vogel, who also brought along 7 assistant coaches from his LA title team, and we're joined now. 7 assistants.
7 assistant coaches. I think
just the fact that
did we have 2? Did we have 2 back when I played?
Yeah, it was pretty much the head coach and Scotty Robertson. Yeah, Kevin Durant joining us now. Man, it's been a busy off season. It's been fun watching you. I mean, you're obviously a huge tennis fan because I saw you at the U.S. Open. They brought up the Commanders game. And then there seems to be like some sort of a battle, I think, going on between you, Book, and Beal because you guys all had the walk-ins with Drake.
Yeah.
Who had the best? Who had the best walk-in?
I would say I'm going to have to go with me for sure, but the Arizona walk-in for Book was legendary.
Yeah, well, you were in Austin, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Book. I'm going to go with Book.
Yeah, he was
because he had the Book ones on, too.
Oh, there you go.
It was a legendary night.
That's great stuff. Yeah, how was your off season?
It was fun, man. Yeah. Every off season is fun. Being an NBA player, professional athlete, we've been blessed with so many great opportunities. So, the opportunity to enjoy it all season is pretty cool.
It's pretty different than my off season. I used to be on a mountain and nobody knew what the heck happened.
Used to be. You still are.
Well, yeah, kind of, maybe a little bit. But it is crazy because, I see you guys walking out of a gym in L.A. and I see you walking out of a gym in wherever. I mean, it's just amazing that you guys are like, you have to have paparazzi like following you around. You're such, you were mentioning it. I mean, because you're blessed because of what you have, but you've got to sometimes feel like, can I just blend in here a little bit?
Yeah, sometimes you do feel like a fish in a fishbowl and you want to go up to the mountains and hang out.
He's got room.
Yeah, I might have to call you up on that. But like I said, it's give and take and everything, and it's something you just got to deal with. But for the most part, people are respectful and really appreciate what we bring to the table as athletes. So there's a lot of cool interactions, when we go out nowadays. So it's not too bad.
Well, you've got to be excited. I mean, from the first minute guys could sign, and I said this to James Jones, I think they signed 6 guys in like 5 minutes. I mean, for guys, obviously they're lining up to want to come and play with you and with Book and the things that are happening here. But guys like Eubanks, he's one of the leading shot blockers in the league in 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued by Bull, and obviously Eric Gordon took a bunch less money to come here and play. That's got to be rewarding, and you're excited about it.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, guys want to be around talented players, but let's not underestimate the city of Phoenix and people wanting to live here in Phoenix. I think Eubanks was living in Phoenix before, in the off seasons already, so it was an easy transition for him. And I think the city attracts a lot of people. A lot of guys want to come play here. So then you add the talent and the coaching staff that we have on top of it. I think it's a win-win for anybody who's looking for a new team.
Josh Bartelstein was saying when he went to the practice facility, all he heard were swishes. He's like, the ball's not even touching the rim, man. You guys have added some more shooters, too.
Yeah.
Your former teammate, Yuta Watanabe, obviously Eric Gordon. Grayson Allen is a career 40% shooter from deep.
Yeah.
What has that been like? Kind of describe to the fans those workouts. And TC talked about, you guys have been working out sometimes in California as well.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a few days with each other in the summer and a couple days here now. Week before camp, guys getting in the gym, getting to know one another. And it's good when you got guys that can stretch the floor like that can give your scorer space to operate, but also guys who got the opportunity to, when they get the opportunity to get the ball, they know how to score it as well and make plays for one another. So I think we got multiple guys that can do that, and we're looking forward to seeing how it works on the floor. I mean, it's easy to say right now. On paper, everything looks great for every team in the league, but getting the reps in and truly understanding our roles, that's the hardest part, and I'm looking forward to doing
13 new guys from the end of last season.
It's crazy.
I know it's always a difficult question because you don't want to just spotlight one guy, but like in the couple of workouts, is there somebody like, whoa, he can bring that?
I pretty much know all of these guys in and out. I mean, the scout reports are always, deep in the season, so you know what each player does and you know their tendencies. But just being around these players and seeing who they are, seeing their routines, I think that's the coolest part. I'm always interested to see what a guy's like on a day-to-day basis, and these guys are true professionals, so it's only going to help us out, help our team out, and make the product on the floor even better.
I love the fact they got a couple of guys that aren't scared.
Exactly.
When you get Nurkic in there and you get Grayson Allen in there, I mean, those are the guys you don't want to play against. You want them on your team. You've got to be excited about guys who are not afraid to put their face in the middle of it.
Exactly. Those guys are physical, and they've been in the fire before, so they know what it takes. So we're looking forward to being around guys that got that experience. And I think that's the underrated part of becoming a great team in this league is having veteran experience in the room. Sometimes it's the nonverbal communication is what's going to get you through. And I think a lot of these guys have been in those situations.
Last one, Bradley Beal is at the podium right now. Describe his personality and that hoop DNA that he brings to this team.
Yeah, just a pure heart for the game. Somebody who's constantly getting better, can score and shoot from every area on the floor. When you see a guy that can do that, you know he put a lot of work into his craft. So somebody I appreciate. I think the fans here in Phoenix are, I'm sure he played on the East Coast his whole career, so you may not have seen him as much. But when you see somebody every single game, it's going to be incredible because he brings so much to the team, so much to the game of basketball as a whole. It's going to be fun.
All right, KD, thanks so much. The ultimate cleanup hitter on our show here on Arizona Family Sports, our first broadcast on the new TV station. So we will take a break right now quickly, and you can continue watching our coverage here from 2023 Suns Media Day on the Suns YouTube channel. Our thanks to Kevin Durant, of course, head coach Frank Vogel, and all of our special guest, Matt Ishbia, who's helping to make all of this happen on the new station. We will transfer over to the Suns YouTube channel.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Want to play for the U.S. team?
Yes, sir. 100%. Hey, Brad, good to see you. When last we talked about the whole point guard thing and kind of sharing the ball handling duties, we didn't know what the rest of the roster looked like. Now, kind of looking at the shooters you guys have, some of the other guards that you brought in, just how comfortable are you with where the roster is at and kind of the ball handling and the playmaking department?
I'm very comfortable with it. It's something that I think all of us, Kev, me, Devin, we've all had some ball handling responsibilities in our career. I know I've probably had more point guard responsibilities over the last year and a half, 2 years, than any other time. So I think it's not just going to be one guy. We're all going to be leading by committee. Who's ever outletting the ball, who's ever closer gets the rebound. We're all free to push and get our offense initiated. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if we had a traditional point guard, he's not going to be slowing our offense down. No, get the ball to Kevin, get the ball to D-Book, and let's get this thing going. So I think we just have that understanding. It'll still be a work in progress. It won't be perfect, but, I think we'll work at it and have a better grasp of understanding what Coach wants us to do and how we want to kind of free flow our offense.
Bradley, over here, Trevor Booth with Clutch Points. You said when you got here that this is Book Nation.
Mm-hmm.
He played in Kentucky, he played at Florida, SEC stuff. What do you think just his potential is for his career and the path that he's on right now?
It's crazy to watch his growth, being just a few years older than him, but just to see the caliber level player he is, it can only just get better, and that's kind of scary to say. And I'm excited to see that because I'm going to continue to push him and push him and push him and push him until he can reach that level that we know he can tap into, and whatever that is, because he can still be better. He can still grow. He can still improve, just like I can, just like everybody can. But I think his sky is unlimited, honestly, and I think he's just now scratching the surface of. And people really waking up and respecting his game and understanding he can carry a team. So he's right there.
Hey, Brad, this is Dave King with SB Nation, Brightside. So there's a new rule this year that you have to play at least 65 games to be considered for all NBA and MVP and awards like that. that could play a big role in future contracts, and you've got a lot of years left in the league. How do you feel about that new rule?
It doesn't bother me, honestly. I mean, the years on my contract are a blessing, but I mean, I'm only 30 years old. Hopefully I can keep these wheels turning. But I mean, at the end of the day, we have a job to do. I said this a few minutes ago. Like, we still got to go out and do our job. If we're signing our contract, we're available to come. Just like we got to come speak to you, we got to go up and show up and play too, just as well. So, I mean, there's a fine line between understanding, as a player, you don't want to push yourself to a limit to where, you can turn being hurt to an injury. You never want that to happen, but you do understand the fan base and understand that, the league, there are fans who drive millions of miles just to come watch you play one time, and for you not to be available that night does suck to that fan. So I get it. I understand it from both sides' perspectives. It may affect some people, but me, it won't. I respect the rule. It is what it is, and I want to try to play all games, so.
Hi, Brad. This is Shayla Krim from Threefold News. Welcome to the Valley. We're all excited for you to be here. How's this transition been for you, your wife, and your boys? And what is something you want Phoenix fans to know about you?
The transition has been great. So I want to thank everybody from our organization to every citizen I've crossed paths with, because they've made our move and our transition here smooth. Your housing market was crazy this summer, I will say. I'm not happy about that, but it's been great. It has been an unbelievable transition. You got to start school out here very early, too. That was another thing. My boys start like first week of August, which is an adjustment. But everything's been great. Everything's been unbelievable. It's like I said, I'm not used to change, but I've embraced it all. I've been open-minded, and this is better than what I could have imagined.
Got time for 3 more?
Hey, Bradley. Luis Torres here. Nice kicks. Obviously, you've been a Jordan Brand member for a while, but any initial reactions when seeing the book 1 and just feedback for him and his kind of growing legacy in the
I
sneaker?
need my pairs. We still Nike family. It is what it is. He knows I need my pairs. And in every flavor he got, I'm a huge fan of it, because that's a kid's dream, man. Every kid wishes, every NBA player wishes they can have their own shoe, And for Nike to take that step for him and to have his own say-so and have his own feel and flesh, like that's every kid's dream. And every kid loves book, and he has an unbelievable story behind it and the creation of it. And I think it was kind of match made. So I'm a fan, and I need my 14s in my locker. So.
Bradley, Brendan Mao from Burn City Sports. With it being your first year, you're here in the Valley, do you have any personal goals besides just winning a championship?
I'm going to hold them to my chest. I feel like in years past I've always said my goals, but I'm going to hold them because I want the team's goals to be louder than what mine are, and they should be, especially at this point in my career. I've done a lot of things, man. I've scored so many points. I've been an All-Star, I've been All-NBA, but like that's just one more box I want to check, So I think that takes the crown of everything that I want individually. Obviously, I'm still competitive. I still have my goals, but I'm going to hold them close to my chest.
Hey, Bradley, Jordan Spurgeon, Sports 360 AZ. During your intro presser, we asked you what it would be like or what you're looking forward to in Phoenix. You said for when it cools down.
Yeah, buddy.
So we finally reached that point a little bit, but you touched a little bit on it, adjusting to schools and all that. But what's it really been like for you, adjusting to the heat, adjusting to the Valley, and being a part of this organization?
It's been fun. It's been fun. Like I said before, I've had an open mind to it all. I've embraced everybody. And I feel embraced here. I feel welcomed here. And it's been exciting, from the fans I interact with on a daily to just being in a facility every day, to see the work ethic from everybody, to see everybody just working towards the same common goal. That kind of changes your mental and pushes you to a new level. So, I just thank everybody here, the city, the state, everybody, just for making everything smooth, man. Because from the movers, like I have to move 11 years worth of stuff to Arizona, like that is a hassle. So yeah, that's tough. So I'm definitely got a lot of people to be thankful for. It's been a smooth transition. I'm happy. Good.
No doubt. We've got Yusuf Nurkic coming up next.
Tom Leander, Tom Chambers back with you here on the Suns YouTube channel, 2023 Phoenix Suns Media Day. You just saw him on the podium and now joining us here on set. Bradley Beal, member of the Suns' Big Three, coming here to Phoenix with a new team, a new head coach, crazy housing market. I mean, some of the things you had up there are just priceless. Crazy housing market. So, and it's kind of interesting, too, that you bring up housing because you were a neighbor of one of my best friends growing up. I played high school basketball with here, Mark Allery.
Oh, wow.
The D.C. area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got the whole scoop on you.
Yeah.
You're a good neighbor. Keep
I hope so.
nice
I
and
got the whole scoop.
Oh, yeah?
Because he's on my fantasy team every year.
Oh, yeah.
I know this guy does more than just score. I mean,
There
he
we
gets a
go.
couple block shots. He gets a couple steals.
Try to fill it up for
He's
you.
got some really long arms, you know. I mean, he gets some. So yeah, we're excited to have. When the name came up, I was like, oh man, I never thought you'd leave. Well, I thought you'd be like one of like Dame on Portland. You know?
Well, he's gone too, by the way.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying.
It is
Like that was.
I know,
So that had to have been weird because you've been in one spot for a very long period of time. I mean, just the initial, can I really do this? And then the team that came up. I mean, tell us about that a little bit.
The whole story is a little. It's crazy because everybody's like, Brad, you picked Phoenix, and it's like Phoenix almost kind of picked me in the process. Like I kind of felt like I was going through a recruiting process all over again. Granted, like you said, being in Washington for so long, it's bittersweet. You want to be there, you want to make it work, and you're willing to do whatever it takes. But we ended up reaching a crossroads, and we had to make a decision as an organization whether we wanted to, kind of keep pushing at the same, keep turning our same wheels, or if we wanted to just break it up and rebuild and start fresh. And I have nobody but to thank Ted Leonsis and the entire, DC organization for their just true professionalism, and they believed in me for so long, and they gave me an opportunity to go try to win a championship. And through that process, I would honestly say, like, Phoenix came in as a dark horse out of nowhere, and every single day it was James, it was Matt, it was Frank, it was Josh, like checking in, like, this is what we want, this is how we feel like you'll fit. And then ultimately Kevin and Dev signed off on it. No other player in the league was communicating to me at those levels, and so that's kind of how I always say, like, Phoenix picked me.
Yeah,
so
and then you
it's
look
kinda
at it,
match made.
too. I mean, look at the arms race that's going on now. You got Lillard going to Milwaukee, Drew Holiday to Boston. So you guys got in there quickly to develop this big three. What kind of camaraderie have you guys been able to establish with some of these workouts during the offseason?
It's been amazing. From day one, once I made the decision to come here, Book and Kay reached out, and it was Book initiating. He's like, when are we getting in the gym? Like, when are we gonna start working out? And so that I was really excited about that because I haven't been around that since Russ. I had Russ Westbrook as a teammate, and so to be around two guys like that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what it's about. This is what pushing each other is about. This is what trying to work toward the championships is about. And it just motivated me even more and more and more to be better. So I'm definitely ecstatic to be here with these two.
So every day in the gym, I know you want to kick their butt. I know this is an all-star. This is all NBA. This is all-star. This is all NBA. And this is what I can do. I know you, all three of you, the way you compete, you want to win every shooting game,
everyone, every single one, playing pickup, whatever it is. Like, we guard one another. Like, we don't shy from that. Like, we compete at a high level, and that's what I love, man. Like, there's a huge respect that we have for each other's game, but we understand that we need each other to push each other to get to the next level.
And so when you went up and blocked Book's shot the first time, what did he do?
I don't know, probably came down and lit me up with a 3-ball the next to that shit. Like, he gonna be aggressive at all times. So it's great.
You're such a humble all-star yourself because, like you even said at the podium, is there a need for a primary ball handler, a point guard? You're like, no, man, just get it up to KD or Book and let them do their thing. I mean, and get it up to you as well. How do you see this playing out?
I can't wait, honestly, because you have three guys, one who are deadly in mid-range, which is unheard of in the NBA, and everybody's like, oh, don't shoot that. But you have three guys who are over probably 50 to 60% in mid-range. And I think for the first time, and I noticed this summer from playing pickup with them, we're going to have a lot of open threes. We're going to have a lot of catch-and-shoot opportunities because the floor is going to be so spaced. So I'm definitely looking forward to the abilities to be able to just see what, their strengths are, where they love the ball, and I think just the ability to be able to space the floor and us being able to be unselfish the way we are, I think it'll flow perfectly. Like, granted, it'll still be some kinks. We got to work it out. But I think just our unselfish mentality that we all have and our competitive spirit, too, will propel us in the right direction.
Well, real quick, too, before I know TC's got another question, because we watched Luka and Kyrie kind of battle, and they were almost too unselfish. It was awkward watching them late in games. How do you avoid that?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be peace. It's still going to be work, because there are plenty of times in which I hadn't pick up. I got to catch and shoot, and I'm just like, and they're like, shoot the ball. I'm like, oh dang, I'm not used to that. Like this is new. So like there's going to be those times in which you may overpass, because we're too unselfish. We want to get another guy going, but we have to understand that our aggressiveness is what's best for the team. And sometimes, it may be K scoring 6 straight buckets. That'll happen, but I think just understanding that we each are capable of doing that, and we all there's one goal at the end of the day. That's all that matters.
All right,
to me.
we got to throw it over to your new teammate, Nurk.
Big Nurk.
Yusuf Nurkic. Yeah, a bit of a change at the starting center position. DA now with Nurk. We'll talk to you about that further. We've got 5 preseason games to watch you guys in action. And Bradley, just great to have you here.
Keep the smile, because we're going to keep asking you for lots of stuff.
Oh, man.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited.
You're that personable.
Ask away.
Yeah, I know.
Ask away.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Let's go to
fellas.
the podium and Yusuf Nurkic.
Appreciate it.
I think we were scheduled important to be one on national TV this season. So coming in a situation where it's going to be pretty much every game like that. So national TV and all the, pressure to come with. I think it's a great situation to be in, to play, and having the guys we have. I think we're going to be a lot of fun this year, and I'm excited to meet every fan out there.
Yusuf, Dana Scott from Arizona Republic. Welcome to the Valley. Just wondering about your thoughts on Bol and playing with him. Obviously, you played with Drew. Yeah, he has a different plays with a different dimension, compared to most bigs, like you and Drew. What do you think he brings to this team, and how you can go up against him in practice?
You count Bobo as a big? Where you looking? What sport you looking, man? My bad. I feel like he's a guard. Like the way he played, the way he moved. I necessarily don't put him personally as a big, but I think he can play position for us in certain matchups and whatever coach put him in. But I definitely looking forward to see him in a kind of winning situation that he have a chance. But like you said, I think he's playing different than mostly bigs or whatever. But looking forward to play with him. I didn't play with him, hear a lot about him from Denver days and my ex-teammates there. So I think he will be really good in this organization as long as he, strive to be great. But like I said, I think he's a more guard, personally.
Yusuf, back here, behind the camera. Elliot Goodbye, Sports 360 AZ, welcome to the Valley. So you just mentioned how excited you are to be coached by Frank Vogel. What responsibility do you feel on the defensive end for this team?
Knowing what I know about Frank Vogel and his past with the bigs, I think it's really exciting for me that he understands and I love to put bigs in great situations and to have a best position and to succeed in his system. I think the most part I'm excited is like defensive system, to see what he want to do and communicate with him in the best way possible to and I will do it. I will definitely do whatever him and his coaching staff asking for me. So I'm not afraid of that. And it's going to be so much fun in winning anyway. I always tell the players, when you lose the game, I feel like everything hurt. But when you win the game, it doesn't even bother anything. Like you're happy and just enjoying the time. So for me, I'm really looking forward to see his staff and him the pick up the brain and what they really see and how we're going to operate.
Final 2 questions.
Yusuf, Chaz Messman, KYMA TV, welcome to the Valley. With the addition of the in-season tournament, how has that changed your approach, if at all, to the early parts of the season? And has that changed your mentality for the early parts of the season?
I think being part of this team, it just doesn't change anything. Like you try to win anything. So whatever comes up, I think the tournament, it's great. I think the NBA initially, when present to players, they want to kind of having these early games meaning more, and I think that's what they end up getting. This tournament, where I'm from, we play cups, overseas, and I think it's interesting really for the fans to engage and having excitement to, having winning games and something meaningful. So I think that's behind of the goal. But for me personally, it doesn't change. I really can play any game, preseason, cup or whole season playoff. To be part of this team is just I'm really looking forward to play with.
Doug Franz Unplugged, WTSM TV. I want to ask a fun question just to get to know you a little bit. in your travels as an NBA player, what is a city in America that kind of reminds you of home? And on the flip side, what is something about Americans that you still don't understand, or you would want to have a question about why do Americans do blank?
Three questions. So first part of your question, I think what I was living last 7 years is really similar to my home, having 4 seasons, having a lot of greens. And the cities is kind of, America is a little different, all these big buildings and stuff, so it's kind of a little different than I grew up in my city and where I was born. But kind of comparing to Northwest to the home where I'm from, kind of that's similar too, or maybe Charlotte a little bit, but that's kind of 4 seasons, don't have as much rain as probably in Portland, but that's kind of, feeling. On the flip side, your second question is tricky because they still don't know why everybody have so many guns. Like, I feel like that's kind of, still don't understand to this day because I feel the kids should be safer in our schools. And I think personally, when you see even if fake guns, whatever, come up with the social media and kids having in school, I think it's a bad thing. And sometimes you can't control certain things with this media, all the social media we have platforms. But I think our kids, if we can secure them, the better, world going forward, it'll definitely be without guns because all these wars and around the world is definitely not good for anyone, especially if people going through that and losing their life for no reason. The war doesn't bring anything, just the sadness and heartbroken things. And I feel like for the kids going forward in America on the whole earth, it's got to be a better place to live, with the more positive things. Yep. Appreciate you.
Next up is Eric Gordon.
So you just heard from News Sun center Yusuf Nurkic. It was the DeAndre Ayton deal to Portland just a couple days ago. The Suns getting Nurk along with Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, and also Grayson Allen coming over from Milwaukee in the 3-team deal. And joining us now here on the stage, along with Tom Chambers, is Yusuf Nurkic. Great to see you.
Pleasure, guys.
And welcome to Phoenix.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what a whirlwind. You're getting ready for training camp with the Portland Trailblazers. The news hits, and your immediate reaction was?
Kind of I was expecting and knowing the thing is going to happen. Having great relation with the organization and having transparency was a big key too. But, I was excited, to be honest with you guys. I was really excited to be part of this group and the teams you guys have is just, as a big, is you can't get better than that. To have 3 people can score 30 a night and to having my role to help them, facilitate, play defense, set screens, and just do those little things are going to matter. And I think it's really exciting for me.
Well, everybody's going to be taking pride in what they do because nobody wants to stand out and be that guy. And I know you take a lot of pride around the front of the rim, offensively, obviously catching and finishing, but defensively, you've got to think like, okay, I've got to be that guy that's going to guard the rim where nobody wants to come in here. I'm gonna, we used to put people on their back. Nowadays, you can't really do that. But you know what I'm saying? Protect the rim.
I mean, definitely. I'm looking forward to work with Frank Vogel, coach, and his system. In the past, when you look at it through his bigs and how he, accomplished that, I think I really fit that system that he want to do it, and I'm looking forward to work with that. To be your point, I definitely know that this team struggled with the past with the rebound, and I'm, one of the best rebound defense in the league, and I'm going to definitely fix that. And now to your point on defense, I'm going to give it to you all, man. Like for fans, Phoenix and Arizona, you're going to have a best shot on me on any part of the offense or defense. You're going to have every night there.
How about your backup coming with you? Or actually, he came before you.
Drew Eubanks, I just told them he was sneaky. He tried to run away from me, so I got him here. I catch him faster than he thought.
Yeah, give us a scouting report on Drew.
He's a really great guy. I was surprised in, kind of, native Oregon there. So before I, met him in Portland, didn't know a lot, since he'd been in San Antonio, and then he come to us, and he was really, hard-working guy that play hard, and as you know, in this league, appreciate the people that they really give it all. So I think he's one of those guys, and he's going to help us with the energy and really playing hard.
We've been watching you, obviously, since you were in Denver and Portland the last few years. And TC and I both commented. We looked and, man, he looks skinny. He looks like you can't go 290, 295 anymore, right?
Yeah, but the skinny part is tricky
skinny,
here.
yeah.
Like, you still 285, 280,
yeah.
290, and people call you skinny. That's not how it works. You know, when you go out there,
have you
people feel.
changed your body over the last couple of years?
Definitely, I think that's the biggest key on NBA's skill level and having all the access to the working out and the facilities and gyms. Obviously, now and probably your age, when you was back in there playing, that was not the case. You guys have a little ice recovery and you're good. But nowadays is really everything is so much improved and you be able to use these access and definitely change my body and a whole. Seeing Dame, how he worked over the years and how hard and be pro, I think is really amazing. I have that leader to learn from.
You're not going to break Bol in half or anything like that.
No.
He's going to break me in half for calling him skinny. He's like, here's skinny.
No, he'd probably still be mad at me if I do that, but I will not do it. He's my teammate now. Looking forward. Like I said, I think he's not that big for me. Like he's a guard.
Yeah,
like, the way he played, like I don't necessarily put him in a big, so I feel like he's a guard more.
Your former teammate, Jokic, in Denver, obviously they knock out the Suns in the playoffs last season. And there are some Suns fans, when you come over, like, oh, he's going to be the Jokic stopper. But, I mean, do you have any special recipe or way that, when the Suns do take on Denver, whether it be regular season or playoffs, that you have that knowledge of how to play him?
Definitely, I think we know each other very well. And, having a relationship with Joker and everything, I think he's, like you said, everybody knows he's a great player and two-time MVP in this league. And these players like Kevin Durant and LeBron, you cannot stop these people. Like there is no way. The system, when you put somebody like that in a system who behind them, it's really hard to stop them. So I think that the basketball come to the other point. Like if one guy gonna get his 30, no matter what, like Kevin Durant, I don't know what they're gonna do. How they're gonna double? You have a Devin Booker, you have a Bradley Beal. So with Joker, the things like he's probably curious more about assist. If you can stop somebody else there in the team, you have a great chance to win. And if somebody scores 60 a night and you win, I don't care for that 60. So for me personally, I will do my all to do it. And, I'll probably have a best chance to know him very well and friends. But there is no such a thing stopper for anyone. In this league, the best. But I think personally, when you stop everybody else around him, you have a great chance to win.
And you have a lot of options for kickouts, including the guy who's at the podium right now, Eric Gordon. We're going to join him.
My God.
Yusuf, welcome to Phoenix.
Appreciate you guys.
And we're going to listen
so
in on Eric Gordon.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Have a good one.
And during the season, you got to have high expectations during the season to have it a fluid year, and then because then when playoff time comes, everything is like second nature to adjustments and things that you can do on the fly. So, but I think we have the capabilities of doing that.
Hey, Eric, Jordan Spurgeon, Sports 360 AZ. Welcome to the Valley. I guess this is a two-parter. What do you want fans in the Valley to know about you? And what are some things that you're still trying to learn and want to learn about the Valley?
Well, about me is I'm very dependable. I like to, with this team, I like to play any role, just like I have been in the past few years. Whether I start or come off the bench, I like to be a star in my role, be very dependable. And, I've always, every time coming here, there's always been a good fan base. The teams have been well here, and that's what they can expect of me is to, be a star in my role, because I think my skill set adapts to anybody on this team.
Hey, Eric, all the way in the back here. Jay Russell with Burn City Sports. Offensively, we know you guys are loaded, but you're bringing in Frank Vogel as your coach. We know defensively it's going to have to be important as well. What's the feeling like in the locker room on how important defense is going to be to obtain the goals that you guys want to have this season?
Oh, defense has got to play a major part. It's hard to win the championship without defense, and I think we'll have the understanding that if we play good defense, the easier shots that we'll get, and that we'll get on the floor, and just playing fast. It'd just be much easier getting out there running the floor, but it's all much easier that way when you play really good defense.
Hey, Eric, Damon Allred, SB Nation. What do you think is the number one thing about your game that will help this team the most? For me, it's kind of that range from 30-plus feet out that you have. Is there something else maybe from your perspective?
Yeah, I've always been able to space the floor, but me also, getting to the basket and trying to make the right play also helps too. Because if I can't make a play for myself, I'd rather make one for someone else. And of course, I can always space the floor, that creates opportunities for my teammates also. So like I said, I think my skill set adapts to everyone on this team.
Dana Scott, Arizona Public. Just wanted to know what you believe about the preseason, and you've been through a lot of preseasons, and so a lot of times, veterans, take a backseat to some of the bench players to get more time. But how do you feel that this preseason will help present what the chemistry is with this new team that's run?
No, I think you definitely have to take it seriously, but I think as long as we are all healthy during preseason and throughout the season, I mean that's what matters the most. Going into a year, going to the first game, all healthy and ready to go, because talent is talent. We know that we have a good team. It's all about how can we all be on the floor at the same time and go through all the ups and downs throughout the season and all the adjustments that we need to propel ourselves to be a good team along the way. So I think health by game one is what matters. All right, no problem.
Next up would be Josh Okogie.
So one of the 13 new players the Suns have brought in for this season, Eric Gordon, who
13.
nearly was a
He's
Phoenix
not that
Sun.
special. He's one of 13.
Well, he was supposed to be here about 10 plus years ago when he signed as a restricted free agent. We had the Eric Gordon jersey, and then New Orleans decided to match that offer. So we've been waiting for Eric Gordon in the Suns uniform.
13 players, 13 years. Is that how long it's been?
How's it feel? You're finally here. You're finally a Sun,
I
man.
know.
It's supposed to happen a long time ago.
You're right. But I would say the circumstances are a little better now.
You think so?
Man.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But no, it's you can't beat. It's got to be a great time to be here for be with the Suns with the kind of team we have, coaching staff and ownership group. You got to be very excited for what we have going on.
Well, as quickly as you signed with the Suns, when you were able to do that, obviously you wanted to be here, and you took, I know for sure, less money to come here and play. And we've talked about Book, and we've talked about all these guys here, but I mean, you just had to be like, oh, please, can I just come join that deal, huh?
Yeah, when you look at the team, you was like, man, I was like, let me see how I can put my skill set with these guys, because these guys are great scorers, great playmakers, and I'll be able to space the floor with those guys. And when we're all on the floor at the same time, it's like, how teams are really gonna guard us. And we just got to continue to, build chemistry throughout the season. Guys stay healthy, and it's really sky's the limit with this group.
I mean, look at that range, seriously. And I go back to the playoffs too. As the Suns met the Clippers, you were on the Clippers during the postseason, and every time you touched the ball, it didn't matter if you were 20 feet away or 40 feet away. You are always a weapon. You are always lethal. When you look at the makeup of this team and yourself, and Utah comes over as well, and Grayson Allen, I mean, we talked to Nurk about that. You're going to have a lot of options for kickouts, but is this probably the best assembly of shooters that you've ever been around? I mean, and that's, taking into account, obviously, Book and Beal.
Yeah, for sure. I think KD. Yeah, this could be the best jump shooting team that I've been a part of, and it's going to be exciting as long as we play fast, have the guys, play downhill and kick it out to, just find the open man. I mean, it's going to be smooth. Should be smooth sailing throughout the season.
Well, I know back in the day you used to apply some defensive pressure. I mean, now we just talk about you being a shooter, but there's a lot of guys on this team right now that they just say is a shooter. But you're going to have to take pride in some defense once again, too, all of you guys from top to bottom.
Yeah, for sure. And I think where guys at in their careers, we have to play we have to be two-way players, and I think guys are willing to do that. I know a lot of people look at these guys, a lot of guys on our team be like, these guys are just great scorers, but they've also and they've been in positions where they have to guard too. But now we all do have to take another step forward and taking pride on defense, because once we take more pride on defense, it should be even easier shots on offense.
And I'm sure you were proud representing the Bahamas, too. And, I mean, that was going to be one of the storylines, the fact that you and D.A. were teammates on that Bahama team during the offseason in the World Cup, and now he's in Portland. But why did you commit to them, and how did that help kind of shape your offseason?
I wanted to play this summer. I thought it was an important summer for me. I feel like as you get older, you got to play more. And, of course, D.A., when he was here, him being on the team, I was like, this would be a good time for me to gel with him and get to know him even more. And we did something for the Bahamas that's never been done, and to qualify, and it was very meaningful for me and the whole country. So we have something to look forward to next summer.
Had some fun, too. I mean, when you made that big shot, I was like, whoa. I mean, the whole country is there. It's not a big country or anything like that, but you had to have so much pride involved in that, knowing that it has never been done before.
Yeah, it was all about pride, and I wanted to do it for that country. I've been going there my whole life, and, I've always had a Bahamian passport. My mom's born and raised there, so it was very meaningful for me.
And now you're an Arizona resident. Were you going through the same challenges as Bradley Beal, the housing market being difficult for, trying to find a place to live and to become acclimated here in your new town?
Yeah, well, I remember him telling me he only moved in a few weeks ago, but I've had my house for a couple months now, so I had to, as soon as I signed here, I was like, let me jump on and start right away. So I've been around here for throughout the summer.
He can't be whining about a house when he makes $46 million a year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's probably an okay housing market when you make that. Now you got your little bitty contract this year because you've been making it, but I'm like, I didn't get a chance to say that to him. But I'm like, come on,
you never know what's going to come out of this guy.
Get ready, get ready, man. Yeah. This is that elephant in the room now. No. Come on,
good stuff.
Yeah, but hey, living out here is great, man. Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
He got that wasn't even a question, but it's just one of the TC statements that sometimes moving right along. It's great. We can't wait to have you on post game and get to know you even more, and looking forward to this team and this season with Frank Vogel, and appreciate your time, Eric.
Oh, appreciate it.
Great to see you in a Suns uni, like I said.
Finally, that's right.
Good stuff. All right, this has been good stuff here at Suns Media Day 2023. Don't forget, preseason game number 1 is right around the corner. It is on Sunday in Detroit. Suns game time. That's right. It's back. Pre-game and post-game show is now Suns game time, baby. 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. And then the game tips off at Detroit, Monty Williams and company at noon. 2 preseason games against Ayton and the Blazers. And, of course, the season opener, October 24th, against Golden State Warriors, who have they added one player. I think that Suns fans might be familiar with, Chris Paul. So a lot of.
Is he going to start?
You're the legend.
Yes.
You're the expert.
You can't be the coach that sits in for the first time.
Really?
Can't be. He'll be right there.
Just the first game, maybe, for Steve.
Well, Draymond's now he's out, so
okay. So Chris Paul's now playing power forward for the Golden State Warriors.
Draymond's the point guard. He's a point guard.
We're just getting started, you and I.
Killing me, man.
Home opener here on 3 TV, October 28th against Utah, and that's when we see the reimagined Ring of Honor, including number 24.
I love it. A flag hanging from the rafters, just the way it should be.
Yep. Thanks to all of our crew, our production crew, David Hughes, Ryan Bafalukas, but a special shout out to our engineer Carl, who, man, just put in his sweat and tears helping to put this together with the entire crowd.
How about our new stage manager?
Yeah, he's waving me out. 3, 2,
getting rid of us.
1. We'll see you on Sunday. Suns game time.